Charlotte Motor Speedway. They're lean, they're mean, they're 5 to 7 horses, a man and machine. They're 4 wide before they start to slip and slide. The Coast to Coast Racing League 358 Modifieds Pro Late Models.
We are live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network for Week 2 of Monday Night Madness here at the Williams Grove Speedway. My apologies for that late start. If you caught us at the beginning, we were trying to, I was up and running 10 minutes early, but it started under the Thursday night thunder. For some reason, stream keys got messed up, and then we couldn't get it to fire up here under Monday, but we finally did, and well, it's time to go play, and you're going to see every driver here is going to be struggling trading paints. Our paint software is not working for, I would say, 90% of the drivers here. When I asked around, so you're going to see some paints that you're not very familiar with. And here's one of the old ones for the 518 of Joseph Grandy as he drives it around there, not able to hang on to it. He's currently quick time, though. Let's Brandon Dittmer, he's all tied up and finished. Let's check out that 390 of Mike Brewer, and I will be checking trading paints here from time to time, but I don't think we're really going to have any luck with it tonight, which stinks, but kind of it is what it is. Can't win it all here in the racing world. But it's definitely going to make me work a little harder. I mean, their numbers, now iRacing, you'll see, their numbers are going to be correct tonight. You're not going to have anybody really with wrong numbers because iRacing will take care of that for us. But Sam Bachman, he showed up late. He wasn't even in here at the beginning of practice. Now we've got 25 guys, so we will have a B main. That slipped on me too. We got 25 guys. So one guy going to go home here. Let's take a look at the starting grid here for heat race number 1, starting on the inside of row 4 in the 093, Craig Bristol. Row 3 to the outside, the 055 of Mr. Wednesday Night, Brian Moore Sr. To the inside, the 513 of the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker. Row 2 to the outside, the 007 of Sam Bachman. And to the inside, the 32 of the Ant-Man, Anthony Morano. Row number 1 for heat race number 1, starting on the pole, or starting on the outside, the 79 of Dean Reynolds, and starting on the pole, the 83 of Brandon Dittmer. And my apologies there in the beginning of the race. I don't think I touched on the sponsors, which I always try to do, and this is, of course, the Full Throttle Motorsports team and Venom Racing coming together here, putting the sponsorship on, allowing me to come out here and we'll run my mouth for the 358 open part of Monday nights. I sure enjoy it. I hope you guys do as well. We pace around. Like I say, it's going to be the plain Jane cars here tonight. If we see cars go gray for any reason, that means the trading paint is starting to work. And then they'll adjust, but I wouldn't hold my breath on that tonight. As we roll around, we'll see if we see that Steve King Foundation pace truck dive in, or if we're gonna do full pace lap here, 2 full laps. Let's see here. We're gonna have 4 heat races, so you guys are listening and you do want to shorten these pace laps in the next heat races, may want to do that. Well, actually, maybe not, because well, hopefully we get more cars for the Rebel Sprints. But last week, a little disappointing of a showing there in the Rebel Sprint cars. So we would only get about the 8 or 9 cars that we got last week. It's really no big deal. Williams Grove, while it is, one of my home tracks, I'm about the same distance away from here in Lincoln. doesn't always promote the best racing. We're going to hope that everybody's patient here. We get some good, hard racing in, but clean racing as the green flag's high. It's ready to fly. Heat race number 1 is underway. As Brandon Dittmer takes a peek on the inside, Dino coming on the outside as they go under the bridge. Brandon Dittmer takes the lead, entering 3. Sam Bachman takes a peek under his teammate in the 79, moves Sam on up to P2 at the line, but not by much as Dean Reynolds rim in that high side. What can he do? Looking for a big run coming down the backstretch. He fights back, gets in front of his teammate, who almost gets into that inside wall. Sam Bachman does a good job there of avoiding what could have been a big wreck, and now Dino takes a peek for the lead. The 79 looking on the inside. Brandon Dittmer, they're that middle high groove. We're not going to see guys venture too far up there yet. Still a lot of grip. Dino throws a slide job. Brandon Dittmer tries to cut back underneath, but Morano was there, so he had to be patient, and Dino leads with 5 laps to go. Brian Moore Sr. getting that 055 in the mix here as he's reeling in those front 4 who are racing really hard. Sam Bachman trying to fend off his teammate in the 32, but the Ant-Man trying to find some magic downstairs. As Sam Bachman gets a run on the outside, he's trying to climb his way on past the Spider Monkey. We're 3 wide for P2. Ant-Man on the bottom, Brandon Dittmer in the middle. Here as we watch him going down the backstretch. Anthony with a big send. Dittmer trying to drive it back around the outside. He's got the momentum. He's there. Anthony gonna look to shut the door here as he enters 1. But not enough room here. He's got to lift out of the throttle and allow Dittmer to maintain that momentum on the outside. But Sam Bachman last time by, quickest lap of the race, a 20.74 as we come to the stripe this time. 2 laps left to play. Sam Bachman with a big run there in the center of the corner. He's got to lift out of the throttle. It allows Dino to just edge a little further ahead. As the 79 sends it into 3 and 4, he looks this time. White flag in the air. 1 more lap to go. Sam trying to cut underneath. You saw him really back that corner up. Anthony almost got into the back of him while he was doing that. Got to behave here. Got 3 teammates running 1, 2, 3. Got to play nice as we roll through 3 and 4 for the final time. Dean Reynolds is going to hold on and take home the checkered flag. Bernie race number 1. Sam Bachman P2. Anthony Morano 3rd. Brandon Dittmer, your 4th and final transfer. Brian Moore, Jeff Barker, and Craig Bristol to the B main. Take a look at the starting grid here. Heat race number 2. Row 3 to the outside. Bud Molyneux to the inside. Ryland Banks. Row 2 to the top shelf. Mike Brewer to the inside. Putt-putt. Clay Christopherson. Row number 1 for heat race number 2 to the outside. Brandon Garand. I'm telling you, Brandon or somebody in that chat box, you tell me. You even hop up here if you want. In between, let me know how to pronounce that last name. I hate butchering that. But starting on the pole, the 31 of B-Temp, Brandon Templeton. It looks like everybody making the call here. So far, we're 13 for 13 here with drivers making the field. Or making the call to the grid, I mean, not making the field. Only 4 drivers so far have made the field for the feature. You see Brandon Templeton on the inside. Still that green 31. Looks a little different than what we're used to, but still there. You get the idea. And B-Temp looking to take advantage here, starting on the pole. Going to go around those 2 times. Is the Steve King Foundation pace truck. He needs a little TV time tonight here at the Williams Grove Speedway. while they're doing this, I've noticed this camera was a little loud in these modifieds. I'm going to have to turn it down here. Probably have to turn it back up for the sprint cars, but let me try and get a handle on that. That way you guys can hear me running my mouth rather than, you know, just the cars when they're screaming on by there. But you see the Steve King Foundation pace truck dive off, and Brandon Templeton has a long way to go down the front stretch here in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. Before we fire this thing, the green flag waves. There's 8 laps. Heat race number 2. We're ready to play. Putt-putt in the wall early. Or, excuse me, that wasn't putt-putt. That was Brandon Garand there in the 53. Thought I saw a 51, but Brandon second to 5th right away there. Lap number 1, he may bounce back to 6th here as you see he's in the wall one more time. But Brandon Templeton leads lap number 1. Clay Christopherson trying to make a move on the inside here is what's going on, Braden. You watching some good racing here in Mechanicsburg. I don't know, yeah, that iRacing might be a little too high for this, or your iRating might be a little too high, but C2C, man. You should go to c2crl.com. And if you meet the requirements, this would be a great room for you and Pops. I'm telling you, there's a lot of good racing here. Is Brandon Templeton leading the way through 3 and 4. Clay inching closer here, but just doesn't really have the momentum to throw the slide job. You see he's going to take a peek underneath. But you need that run coming off the corner. He's going to look back one more time. You can see it looks promising, and then all of a sudden the 31 shot out of a cannon. And Brandon Templeton holding the lead. Not really having to push himself either. Looks like he's running pretty smooth, confident behind the wheel of that 31. Now Mike Brewer, he's going to go to work here on his teammate in the 051, that 390. Brewer taking a peek, tries to diamond 3 and 4, still then even can't find the run. Gonna go one more time. He's really diamonding these corners center off, but even then you see he's still got to duck back up in line. But man, oh man, with 2 laps to go this time, by battle on for P2. Brewer finally there, but he clips the inside wall. Oh, Ryland Banks, he misses. Brandon, not so lucky. He's missing the left front, and oh, we've seen it before. You don't need the left front here at Williams Grove. You may, actually. You may need it. I lied. This isn't a Pro Late model here. I got a little too excited. You may need it here in these modifieds. But Brandon Templeton here, the white flag lap. He's got Clay Christopherson right behind him. But putt-putt not really close enough to make a move. He's going to peek underneath. Not going to be able to send it in front, though, but he's there. Brandon, a little hiccup. And, oh, Templeton just edges putt-putt at the line. Side by side, close race. Ryland Banks, Bud Molyneux, your 4th and final transfer. So you know the deal by now. Brandon there, he wasn't able to finish that last lap, so iRacing doesn't like that. We'll sit here and wait for a second until they're sure that Brandon's not going to come back out on the racetrack. Row 3 for heat race number 3. To the outside, the 39 of the high side banger, Patrick Spangler. To the inside, the 87 of the general, Andy Patton. Row 2 to the outside, the 213 of Michael Vitale. To the inside, the 93 of Butters, Jason Butterfield. Row 1 for heat race number 3 here at the Williams Grove Speedway. To the outside, the 56 of Randy Shreves. And starting on the pole, the 033 of John Morano. We'll see here if I have enough time to refresh the overlay on my end, too, because I'm so used to looking at their paint jobs, that these, even though the numbers are bright, I've really got no excuse because the numbers are there. I'm just so reliant on those paint jobs, as I'm sure most of you have become over these many years. You know, they change them every now and then. All drivers do, but most of them kind of stick with that same numbers style. And the iRacing defaults here really, really throw me off. Speaking of throwing me off, too, it's not that often that the high side banger gets in here and flirts with some 358 modifieds, especially open setups here. Good to see the 39. Roll down the backstretch for the final time here, and we get ready to go play for 8 laps here at the Williams Grove Speedway. As John Morano in the 033 drops the hammer and we're underway. There's 8 to play. Butters trying to make some moves down there in that 93. Moves on up to P2 for the time being, but Randy Shreves with a lot of momentum upstairs. Can he get back around the 93? That's where we've seen most of the guys feel comfortable. I mean, we saw Clay Christopherson at the end of that last heat race making it work on the inside. Got to the door of Brandon Templeton, but couldn't complete the pass. There's 1 lap in the books, and John Morano leading the way in the 033. Side by side there for third, and Michael Vitale and Jason Butterfield as Randy Shreves trying to creep up on that 033 of John Morano. Maybe take a little peek, couldn't do it, had to back out of it. Now John Morano holds on here as we've got 3 laps in the books. We're on to lap 5. Contact there between Butters and Michael Vitale. Vitale slides up the racetrack, then bounces back down into Patrick, then bounces back up into Butters, and Butters with a hard hit. He's going to have to call this heat race over here. As, man, got a feel for Butters. He was just minding his own business, trying to make it work. Pounced down to the inside, and now his 90's got to go uphill from here, and not easy to pass at the Williams Grove Speedway. John Morano doing a good job right now, just maintaining that speed in the center of the corner, not allowing the 56 to get around. He goes up there, shuts the door, going down the straightaway. Looked like Randy had a big run. It allowed Michael Vitale to reel him back in, and Randy going to send it in deep, looking for some momentum on that high side. If Morano doesn't get up there and shut the door, which he does, Randy's looking to take this thing over. He takes that momentum, thinks about a slide job, can't shut the door. John Morano to the outside. He hangs tough. Randy thinking about driving it in. He can't. John's there. We're side by side coming out on 4, white flag in the air. John Morano, what a story this would be for the 033 to come back here. Haven't seen him run a lot recently. If he could win this heat race, he's going to start on the inside of row number 2. And you know what? That's exactly what he's going to do. As we come off of 4, John Morano takes the checkered flag, followed by Randy Shreves, Michael Vitale, and Patrick Spangler. Andy Patton and Jason Butterfield to the B main. Our 4th and final heat race for our Full Throttle Motorsports Venom Racing 358 Modifieds. Row 3 to the outside, the 05 of Devo Donovan Ross, to the inside, the 91 of Chad Lackey. Row 2 to the outside, the 518 of 100 grand Joseph Grandy, to the inside, the 171 of Jake Henry. Row 1 for your 4th and final heat race to the outside, the 814 of Brad Waden, starting on the pole, the 7 of Bob DeGood. Ooh, my apologies there. I was fighting off some hiccups. May come back, because I just kind of got that feeling it didn't totally go away. So if while we're racing, if you hear me hiccup, it's tough to, do all this by yourself, work the cameras in, get over there and click that mute button. I try to work out all the funks here in between, but I can't always get lucky. This heat race, there have been some where I kind of had my eye on a couple people, and honestly, I don't think any of my favorites for the heat races have won if I would have said them out loud. But this one, you gotta like the 518 of Joseph Grandy here. I think he's gotta be. It wasn't a hiccup there; it was a sneeze, and I think you caught the beginning of it. And I'm telling you, I'm one of those people, I really will. I'll sneeze 6 or 7 times. I'm not a one sneeze person. So get ready for the sneezes here, heat race number 4. As we go down the front stretch for the final time, the green flag's high. It's ready to fly. There's 8 laps to play in Mechanicsburg, PA. Brad overdrives the center of the corner, and that was a rough start there, and I give, Joseph the commentator's curse. He bounces into the outside wall. Just like that, the favorite gone. Brad Wade also involved. He was bouncing around. Devo, he gets sucked down into it in that 05, and just like that, Grandy back to 4th. But this heat race, who's it going to be? Bob the Good leads the way in that number 7 machine. But here comes Jake Henry in the 171. Jake Henry fighting for grip coming off a 4. You see he tries to go that half a lane lower. Just not having the success that Bob's going to have center off. But if he can make up time in the entry of the corner until the center, it may be worth it. But right now, Jake, he's going to have to figure something out if he wants to find a way around that 7. Because he's inching closer. But like I say, their lines aren't too much different. As there he tries to ride up in the center of the corner, diamond off. But Jake Henry not having much luck as Joseph Grandy is up in 4th. He's starting to reel back in 3rd. Chad Lackey sees the 518 getting a lot bigger. He needs this battle to heat up a little in front of him, so maybe he can tug on the leash a little bit. Reel these front 2 back in. But we're halfway as there's 4 laps to go here at the Williams Grove Speedway. We roll through 3 and 4. Joseph getting closer to the 91 of Chad Lackey. Really been able to eat into that deficit after getting in the wall, coming out of 2 on the opening lap. Looks to the inside. Chad tries to come down and shut the door, but Joe's there, not going to let him. And we'll see. We're going to have a battle as we come to the line. Not much of one, though. Big run for the outside. Chad Lackey in the 91. 2 laps to go. Jake Henry all over the back of your leader, Bob the Good. He's gotten there, but as we saw with the 518, it's one thing to catch a guy. It's another thing to pass him, and with the white flag in the air, I just don't know if Jake Henry here is going to have enough time as we go down the backstretch for the final time. Bob DeGood sails it into 3, drives it through 4, no pressure from the tail tank, or off the tail tank of that 7, and Bob DeGood wins heat race number 4. Jake Henry, Chad Lackey, and Joseph Grandy, your top 4. Devo and Brad Waite to the B main. Nine guys making the call for this grid. 8 going to the show. Rounding out the field, Craig Bristol. Row 4 to the outside, the 814 of Brad Waite. To the inside, the 93 of Butters, Jason Butterfield. Row 3 to the outside, the 390 of Mike Brewer. To the inside, the 513 of the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker. Row 2 to the outside, the 05 of Devo, Donovan Ross. To the inside, the 87 of the General, Andy Patton. Row number 1 for your B main. To the outside, the 53 of Brandon Garand. To the inside, the 055 of Mr. Wednesday Night, Brian Moore Sr. Well, not much of a story here. 9 drivers ain't gonna make it. It's only one going home. You don't want it to be you. We'll see. They'll have some time to think about it. I assume we'll still go around the extra time here. As we do, the Steve King Foundation Pace truck stays out there, and we're just going to hang out here till we get ready to roll. 8 guys going to the show, 1 going home. As they go into the bridge for the final time here, should get ready to go racing at the Williams Grove Speedway. I think we'll have 10 laps. When we do drop the hammer, 1 guy going home. As the green flag is high. It's ready to fly. There's 9 in the show. Only 8 gonna make it. We've got 10 to play. Brad Waite gets bounced to the outside right away in that 814 machine, and without some serious help in front of him, which he may have just got, as Craig Bristol gets into the back of Mike Brewer, he drives up the racetrack. Now the battle on for that final transfer spot. As Brad Waite takes a peek to the inside, can't get the momentum, and this is where, well, these guys don't really care that they were going to make it and are already in the show. They would have just behaved. That's exactly what was going to happen. And now Andy Patton, he got caught up in somebody else's mess in that 87, and he gets bounced to the back, and all of a sudden Andy Patton, now he needs some help. Brian Moore Sr. out front, and you can see the field's kind of single file now. This isn't what Andy Patton wants to see in that 87. He is going to need some serious help as we go under the bridge here in the backstretch. Andy Patton, he's going to have to start making some moves and hitting the grooves here if he wants to reel in the 05 of Devo. Devo's got the dancing shoes on right now. He's hitting that inside, sliding a little bit. Not what he wants to do. It's allowing the 87 of Andy Patton to reel him back in. And Donovan Ross, a guy who, quite frankly, you don't think about not making a feature. I know these aren't his cup of tea, but man, Andy Patton, he's up there, and at the halfway point, he's putting the pressure on him. 53 overshoots the center of 3 and 4. That allows Mike Brewer, or Jason Butterfield, excuse me, in the 93. I was dyslexic there for a second. Mike Brewer taking a peek on the inside. Can't get it. I did it again. Jason Butterfield. Oh my gosh, man, what is going on with me as there's 3 laps to go. This time by 3 fingers in the air as Andy Patton. Right now, he's going to need some help. He needs the guys in front of him to get a little naughty. or he needs Devo to step on it here. As the general, he tries to peak low, looking for grip down in the bottom of 3 and 4. But Devo with a big run off the top shelf, and with 2 laps to go. Oh, Andy Patton gets in the inside wall. And you got to think that's going to be all she wrote. Most likely for the 87, unless there's maybe some contact up here racing for the lead. As Mike Brewer gets a run, he takes a peek on the inside of Mr. Wednesday Night. He almost gets in the wall there, entering 1. He's able to straighten it out. Still underneath that 055 as we go down the backstretch for the final time. Brian Moore Sr. looking for a crossover, trying to cut underneath. But Mike Brewer, he's got it at the line. He wins your B main. Brian Moore, Jeff Barker, Brandon Duran, Jason Butterfield, Craig Bristol, Brad Waite, and Andy Patton make the show. As Devo, not too sure what happened to Devo in the last lap, if he pulled it over there or what happened, but Donovan Ross, he was in, then he wasn't. So Andy Patton going to get that last spot here in the show. As we take a quick break here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, we'll be right back with your 358 modified feature. We're back live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network as we get set for maybe 25, but I think 30 laps here at the Williams Grove Speedway. Proudly brought to you by Full Throttle Motorsports Racing Team and the Venom Racing Team. Couldn't put on this broadcast without those two teams coming together for the ultimate cause. Let's see here. Alrighty, rounding out the field, 24 drivers. To the outside of row 12 in the 87, the General Andy Patton. To the inside, the 814 of Brad Waite. Row 11 to the outside. It's Bristol, baby, in the 093. Craig Bristol to the inside, the 93 of Butters. Jason Butterfield. Row 10 to the outside, the 53 of Brandon Garan. To the inside, the 513 of the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker. Row 9 to the outside, the 055 of Mr. Wednesday Night, Brian Moore Sr. And to the inside, the 390 of Mike Brewer. Row 8 to the outside, the 518 of 100 grand, Joseph Grandy. To the inside, the 39 of the high side banger, Patrick Spangler. Row 7 to the top shelf, the 883 of Bud Molyneux. To the inside, the 83 of the Spider Monkey, Brandon Dittmer. Row 6 to the outside, the 91 of Chad Lackey. To the inside, the 213 of Michael Vitale. Row 5 to the outside, the 76 of Ryland Banks. To the inside, the 32 of the Magic Ant-Man, Anthony Morano. Row 4 to the outside, the 171 of Jake Henry. To the inside, the 56 of Randy Shreves. Row 3 to the outside, putt-putt in the 051, Clay Christopherson. To the inside, the 007 of Sam Bachman. Row 2 to the outside, the 7 of Bob DeGood. To the inside, the 033 of John Morano. And row number 1 for your A main here, your 358 modified feature. To the outside, the 31 of B-Temp, Brandon Templeton. And starting on the pole, the 79 of Dean Reynolds. As the Steve King Foundation pace truck pulls off, the green flag is high. It's ready to fly. There's 30 laps to play in the clay at Mechanicsburg, PA. Your feature is underway. Dino tries to go up there and shut the door. B-Temp wanted to go for a hike around the outside, but the trail was closed. And Dino holds on here through lap number 1 as we roll through 3 and 4. Templeton, he's going to try to storm back. You see, the Ant-Man, he's having a little hiccup on the inside. Oh boy, Anthony Morano, not the lap number 1 he wanted in that 32 machine. Started 9th, has fallen back to 15th. But meanwhile, John Morano taking advantage of that third starting spot. He moved on up to P2, and now he's trying to hold off the 31 of Brandon Templeton. Templeton takes a peek on the inside, tries to go up the hill, but Johnny says no way, and Morano holds on for now. Oh, is Big John on the outside trying to make it fit back through the middle. A little contact with Clay Christopherson. Sam Buckman trying to find his way through as well. John's just got to lick the wounds here, try to get back in line. That's exactly what he's able to do. But now Brandon Templeton, he's got his sights on the 79 of Dean Reynolds here as we come across the stripe. We're on lap 5. Dino taking advantage of we're 3, almost 4 wide going under the bridge here. Back in the back, they were racing hard. Bob DeGood, we saw him. He started in the top 4. He was 4th. He's fallen back to 10th. The 7 of Bob DeGood. Definitely trying to recover here is, you see some contact. Ryland Banks hard in the outside wall, and that will bring out a caution. Here, as we go back, we try to figure out what kicked all that off. But we'll see here. So I want to find Ryland Banks here in this 76. Now, you see John Morano. He comes up. I mean, that's nothing John did. You know, he's holding his line. John is fine there. Ryland just gets into the back. And from there, huge stack up. And we, Williams Grove, something happens coming in out of the corners. you're all funneled into that same spot, and you kind of expect things like that to happen if they happen in front of you. Not easy. And that was well, hopefully everything's all good. You saw the iRacing froze there really quick. Didn't like that. That was a scare. Let's see here. As everything starts to cycle around, we do have Brandon Dittmer up into the moving. He's moved his way up into the top 10. I'm trying to find some guys on the move. Joseph Grandy as well. He's up 8 spots. So the guys in 7th and 8th. Dittmer up 6, Grandy up 8. Those guys really moving their way through the field. Andy Patton, who lucked into that final transfer spot in the B main. He's up 10 spots as well. Started 24th. There's Anthony Morano. He's having, I imagine, steering wheel issues. Maybe VR issues. Hopefully everything's okay there for the 32. Comes to a stop on the inside of the racetrack. That's not something we want to see. He's definitely trying to steer the wheel, trying to get something going. There it goes, able to fire it back up. As Dean Reynolds ready to bring the field back to the green flag. We've got 5 laps in the books. And as the green flag is high, it is not ready to fly. The yellow flag goes back up. You see the lights on that Steve King Foundation pace truck. Dino going to have to let it come back out in front of him. I imagine they had trouble getting Anthony Morano back in line. And we'll see if we go back green this time. As the green flag is high, it's ready to fly. Dino drops the hammer and we're back underway. He shuts the door. Going to be able to go upstairs and run high if he wants to through 1 and 2. He does. B-Temp downstairs. Looking to make a run here at the 79. Little bit of contact going down the backstretch. Brandon gets shooken up, and John Morano, he's able to hang on to it. He almost went around. But we're going to have a caution here at Williams Grove. Caution flag never flew in the 87 of Andy Patton. Going to bring it down to the inside, and that's going to be the caution. It's just easier for me to skip. I'm not going to get a wreck alert on this one because it took so long for the caution flag to come out. So just easier to find it here that way. But you can kind of see this is all going to kick off in front of him. Try to see if we can get the aerial view of it. So John, you can see he's kind of gathering it up there. So Mike Brewer, he kind of checks up there, but then still nowhere to go for him. 513, Jeff Barker gets in the back of him, and Andy Patton then gets bounced up into that outside wall and broke the right front. Nothing he could do in that 87. Now we pace around here, continue to pace around, and, well, I got a little hint there from Spider Monkey Brandon Dittmer in between that we can't shorten the pace laps anymore. I guess iRacing maybe got rid of that command in their last update, maybe by accident. Hopefully it comes back, but these guys don't behave themselves. This could be a long feature here. with these 2 pace laps. The light should go off this time, and Dino chooses the inside. Not sure what happened to Brandon Templeton either. In the 31 B-Temp. He came down for a quick repair, I guess, so must have gotten some damage somehow right before that caution came out. Tough break for the 31, but now we've got a Full Throttle Motorsports top 3 as we roll through 3 and 4 for the final time. The green flag high. It's ready to fly. Dino can drop the hammer. He does. We're back underway. Lap 22 in the books. Uh-oh. Guys going 3 wide. Let's see what happens. Got to play nice if you're going to do that. And so far it works out. The Spider Monkey caught upstairs. Jake Henry, he got out of the middle as soon as he could there. Anthony Morano still trying to make it work on the bottom. He's got his teammate behind him in the 390, Mike Brewer, but Dean Reynolds out front, pacing the way here. But the caution flag flies one more time. Let's see what happened here. Seeing Michael Vitale involved. No idea how this kicked off. Normally I can kind of get a little bit of a hint. And there you see the 033 just kind of comes up and shuts the door. But, you know, I know this is, you know, the 213 is not going to want to hear this, but that is about as racing incident as it gets because he's got to let the 390 get out in front, and then he's trying to go up and just get in that slot in line. And I mean, Mike definitely there, but man, way late, and it's hard for him at the same time to kind of adjust to that. But then, as he's trying to gather it up, gets into the side of the 7 of Bob DeGood, does a 360 there, and the caution flag waves. I'm going to go down here and make this guy save us under caution. Brandon, you've got that thing up into the top 10 now. Do we have 2 lanes, or is it just kind of you want to get to that outside and hopefully you catch the guy in front of you trying to make a move on the inside?
You can make it work in the bottom of 1 and 2. I think there's something down there for everybody. But in terms of 3 and 4, it's all topside. I tried going down there, and I just got nothing. Unless some of these guys got a better setup than I do, but there's just nothing at the bottom of 3 and 4.
Well, hey, man, looks like you got the one to go now. I waited too long to come down here and bug you. I'll head back up. Go give him heck, kid.
Sounds good,
I said
thank you.
kid, even though we're around the same age. I don't know why I did that. It's the weed talking. Go get him, Brandon.
Thank you.
Talking to him like he's Blake Chapman or something. Like he is a young kid. Blake is still a kid to me. He's only 20. So I got him by, almost 14 years. The Dean Reynolds rolling the outside here, getting ready to come to the green flag. As we'll have 10 laps in the books this time by. 3 cautions already, so the Cats are running out of lives here in Mechanicsburg as we're back underway. Mike Brewer and Jake Henry getting to know each other there on the entry of 1. Brewer getting a good run coming off the corner. But it's all Dean Reynolds out front. Joseph Grandy started 16th. He is up to 3rd, but we're under caution one more time. See what happened here. not too sure. That looked like Brandon's wheel disconnected. That looked like his wheel disconnected, or he was just tired of running around here at Williams Grove. Because all of a sudden, we're going to see the wheel just snap right. Right there, you can see the wheels just turning right. But no, there, they kind of straightened out. So, I don't know what happened there. But I do know we're under caution again. The Steve King Foundation pace truck pulls off. We get ready to go back racing here. 4 cautions and 10 laps. Let's behave, fellas. The green flag's high. It waves. We're back underway. 18 to go. Got to give these guys up front some time to play here. Sam Bachman taking a peek on the outside. Grandy caught underneath here. He's trying to make it work in that 518. Fighting for real estate, gets into the side of the 007, and he holds on to P3. Mike Brewer trying to work up to the back of that 32. His teammate, the Anthony Morano. But we're back under caution. One more time. John Morano in the 033. Just gets into that inside wall, broken left front. And the 033 got to come to a stop, and we're back under caution. But, like I say, you know, guys are going to be running out of lives here. You know, we do have an incident limit. It's beating and banging. It's not. You're not going to be able to stay on the track all night. Here, so if the guys don't start to settle down, we're going to see that field count really drop. And right now, only have 16 guys on the racetrack. So we've lost 8 guys so far. That's exactly what I was talking about, is beating and banging. That one quick repair is only going to get you so far. You got to find a way to try to take care of that equipment and get that thing to the front. Right now, drivers just not having a lot of luck in doing that at the moment. But Dean Reynolds gonna have 16 laps to go when we go back racing here. He's led the way since the opening lap. But 5 cautions there and 13 laps, so you do the math. That's not getting a lot of time to race. You just got to kind of try to survive your way through the mess. And hopefully here we can close out this second half of the feature with a long green flag run. Give these guys a little chance to dance up here as Dean Reynolds gets ready to drop the hammer, and we're back underway. 16 laps to play here in Mechanicsburg, PA. Dino making it work off the top, but they're 3 wide already. Let's see here. They survive for now, but boy, oh boy. The pressure is on these guys to keep it straight. Brandon Dittmer trying to go to the top here, trying to eat up all that tack. Anthony Morano screaming through the middle, and Clay Christopherson screaming for a long green flag run as he finally gets to the tail tank of his teammate. Can he make a move? Putt to the inside, trying to find a run off of 2. He was able to get to the door in the center of the corner, but just not enough speed coming off as the 79 Express. So much steam off that top shelf, and with 13 laps to go, Dino looking to keep that train rolling on that top side. Clay, that's as close as he's been there. He thought about keeping it underneath even on the entry to 3. Anthony Morano doing a little shopping downstairs, can't find a good bargain. He gets back in line. Clay Christopherson, though, not giving up here. He's going back low. He's got the lead at the midpoint going down the backstretch. But Clay, he needs to get the grip. He slides up in front of Dino. Dino crossover. He's got the lead at the line with 11 laps to go. Don't you dare, drivers in the back, spoil this dang thing with a caution. You let these guys race it out because you can put the top 3 under a blanket. Putt with a slide job. Dino, can he cut back underneath? The answer's no. He's got to stay in line. Clay goes down and shuts the door in 1 and 2. Dean tries to get some momentum off that top shelf. But now Joseph Grandy trying to throw it in there. Can he make the move stick? Anthony Morano thought about making it 3 wide, but the door got closed. Just not enough grip down there to get it done, but the Ant-Man gonna send it down there one more time. Anthony Morano from 4th, oh, then 3 wide. Then 3 wide, contact. Joseph Grandy sends it in a little deep. He gets into the side of the 79. We're back to 3 wide. Oh, Grandy, can he make it work? 8 laps to go. There's a little contact going into 1. Joseph Grandy, oh, he looks to the left now. He's got the Ant-Man. Dino led this whole thing, and now he's falling back to 4th. Dean Reynolds tries to get up there, maybe give him a little bump, tell him he hasn't forgot about what he's done, but couldn't get there coming out of 4. But the battle's still on for 2nd. Well, was. Anthony Morano just hit the afterburners, and he's got P2 going out the backstretch. Sam Bachman looking for real estate down on the bottom in 3 and 4. What kind of move can he make? None. He's going to stay where he was, P5. As Anthony Morano inches ever so closer to the driver of the 051. What can Putt do? As he comes off of 4 this time by 5 laps to play in Mechanicsburg, PA. Clay Christopherson smooth as he can be on the bottom, but Anthony Morano still inching his way closer. Looking on the bottom through 3 and 4, but Clay's got it with 4 laps to go. Joseph Grandy not able to keep touch here with the front 2, but Dino trying to come back for that 3rd and final podium spot as we've got battles all over the racetrack here at Williams Grove. 3 laps to go this time by Sam Bachman. He's treated the 2 good battles off that nose. The battle for 3rd and the battle for the lead. But Anthony Morano, he's going to need a Hail Mary here. As he's running out of laps, he's going to see 2 fingers in the air this time by 2 trips around, 1 mile to go here in Mechanicsburg. Anthony right there, but he's got to find a way. Clay is not going to make a mistake here. Anthony's going to have to force him into one. He tries to look under, coming out of 4 as the white flag in the air. One more lap to go. Anthony Morano sends it in. Looking for that momentum coming off of 2, but Clay really opens the can. And you gotta think the final time through 3 and 4, it's looking like Putt-Putt is gonna bring home another checkered flag here at the Williams Grove Speedway. Anthony Morano P2 and $100,000 holds on to the 3rd and final podium spot. Dino Bachman, your top 5. Well, we just needed a couple of the eggs to get knocked out of the basket here, and it led to a good, long green flag run here at the Williams Grove Speedway. And that is, this is what I watch when I come up here on Friday nights. This is the type of racing I like to see. The long green flag runs, slide jobs. I mean, that's the way you're passing at Williams Grove. Really, the only way to get it done, in fact, is to go up there and just, cut the momentum off from that guy in front of you. But have to see here if we can get a word here with the drivers of our top 3. Joseph pops up in here. Hey, $100,000, Shaggy, man, you got a copy? Well, everyone else heard me say that, but you didn't because I forgot my Discord's on push to talk. Grandy, how you doing, man?
Not bad.
Oh man, I forgot I do I do some 3-man broadcast leagues, and I have to have my big mouth on push to talk in Discord, so I forget. But man, you had your hands full there. A little bit of contact there with Dino. That's just racing. I don't think there's anything you could do. Kind of forced in the middle there, 3 wide. But talk to us about that race, man. You're the hard charger for a reason. You were quick tonight.
Yeah, worked my way up. Ended up, I don't know, got lucky on a couple of yellows there. I think I burnt my stuff up too much, trying to get through the field there towards the end, because I definitely felt like I had the faster car with like 20 to go, or 10 to go. But those last 10 laps, those 2 got away from me, and I saw Dino's running high, so I figured I'd run high, so that way he has to work to get by me. I saw that because they were running low, but I felt like when I ran low, Dino was gaining on me, so I just decided to stay up top.
Yeah, and obviously open setups here on Monday night, so people can gear it up different ways. But if you could go back,
I lose you.
Oh, are you there? You got me? Oh my dude! I everybody on the broadcast heard me again, Joe. I'm going back in. I could have swore while you were talking, I made it voice activity. Now it is 1,000% voice activity, so I blew it twice on you. But anyways, like I was saying, Joe, obviously hindsight's 20/20. But if you could go back and maybe make a gear change, is there anything we'd do different, or those guys just a little too quick tonight?
Yeah, definitely. My gear was a little too high, but yeah, it is what it is. I'm still happy with a 3rd.
Yeah, man, this group, and, you had to survive there that first half of the race, and you were able to do that. Hell of a job, Joe. Congrats on the 3rd, man. Anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, all the guys over at Coast to Coast Sim Sports, Catalytic Recovery, my girlfriend Olivia, all the guys at Coast to Coast, and appreciate you, man, for doing the broadcast.
Hey, hell of a run, man. Can't wait to talk to you again here soon.
Thanks.
Joseph Grandy bringing home P3, and now we're going to bring up the Ant-Man, Anthony Morano. Anthony, man, you had an adventurous night. I saw you had that trouble under caution. You had trouble getting the pedals working, I'm assuming. But you're able to get them backfired, and you roll that thing up on the bottom, man. Doing it where you're always so comfortable at Williams Grove, man. How good you feel tonight?
Car felt really good. Actually, me and Clay were actually running on the same setup, but no, I don't know what happened there early. It looked like I don't know if Shreves got in with somebody or he just got crossed up or something. I was trying to stay off him, and then I fell back to like 13th. And I was like, that's gonna be a really long night. Then my screen froze under caution, and I was like, that works. So get that fixed and started to get my way through the field, and then I think I passed Brandon Dittmer 7 times. Every time I passed him, a caution came out. So I had a lot of practice passing Brandon there. So I don't know. A lot of cautions kind of sucked, but kind of unfortunately happens at Williams Grove. But car felt real good. Really had to work to get back up there. Got up the clay and just when the guy who teaches you how to run the bottom is running the bottom in front of you, you really don't have a lot of options but to just sit there and hope he screws up. So hats off to Clay. Ran a great race. Yeah, a lot of fun though. A lot of fun. I love coming to this place.
Yeah, man, and you get to say it. I don't, and you worded it rather beautifully, the same way I would have worded it if I was a driver. That second half of the race, man, you guys got to show how fun this place can be when guys behave, and you keep it green flag. But you touched on it a little bit, man. How do you keep positive? Do you guys joke around in the Discord? You cracking jokes? I mean, how do you just keep that from dragging you down, caution after caution?
I know the one who definitely didn't want to see any more cautions was Dino. But yeah, I mean, we're just in there, talk about what we're finding as we're hitting different lanes. And I know Brewer was following me there for most of that race, coming through the back. So yeah, we were just talking. I told him I'm going to stay down on the bottom because the bottom 1 and 2 and that slider in 3 and 4 was just. That was the best way to go by far. I mean, I think I got around Sam by like half a second running the bottom in 1 and 2, and he went up to the top. So huge difference. Of course, I had a ton of gear in the car, so definitely had all the pull coming out of the corner I needed. So, but yeah, if you get going, once you get going here, this track is an absolute blast to race. It's just getting it to that point where you're actually able to run 10, 15 laps without a caution stopping everything.
Yeah, but we were finally able to get there at least. And Anthony, you guys put on a good show, man. That battle for second and third, you trying to get around Grandy and Dino, that was some of the best racing we've seen all year. So hell of a job, Anthony. Good on the P2, man, and almost the FTM 1-2-3, but can't get them all. Congratulations, man. You got anybody you want to thank?
I got to thank my wife, Sherry, the boys at FTM, Super Dirt Car, High Mom Lens, Swan Speed Shop, DJ Sim Shop, Extra Installation, Castleberry Flagstone, Shaggy TV, GridPack.com, Vertex Designs, Shaggy for doing a broadcast, everyone at Coast to Coast, Full Throttle Motorsports, and Team Venom for sponsoring the division. And yeah, that covers it, man. I'll see you in the sprint cars.
Yeah, man. Give him hell, Anthony. Good luck. Anthony Morano bringing home P2. Now we're going to bring up his teammate here, Putt Putt. Clay, man, I kept talking about it. Every time you would get close to Dino, it would take you about 2.5 laps. And, well, that just happened to be the average of our green flag runs here until the second half of that race. Yeah, man. How, obviously, I know, dude, everybody in here, you guys especially, man, we all root for Dino. But at the same time, man, you want to win. And when you're running around P2 caution after caution, dude, how frustrating is that?
It was pretty frustrating. There was a lot of stuff to avoid. Also, it was a fast but slick racetrack. It was tough. You'd enter with so much speed and just wash up the track or wash exactly where you were. It was just momentum based. So yeah, the getting up the field and then those cautions after cautions was just killing me. So I had to find something else, and I tested the bottom of 1 and 2, and it felt great.
No, that's what I was going to ask you, because we caught you early on. You were on the bottom, and I don't know if you remember it, but you entered 3 and 4 pretty low. You almost clipped that wall, and from there on out, you entered about half a lane higher than Anthony. Were you just playing it a little safer there in 3 and 4, just knowing that you had the pace, you didn't have to push it?
That's kind of where the car wanted to go. There was a couple times I was able to get down there, but I didn't really need to. The car was carrying enough momentum. But 1 and 2, I think I'd slow down to about 40 miles an hour before actually turning. It was insane, the speed difference.
Yeah, definitely, man. That's shine going into 1 and 2. If you overgoosed that thing, you were in trouble trying to catch it up the whole way through the center. But Clay, as you do so well, man, you pounded that bottom. You found a way to get to the front, and you bring home another checkered flag here at Williams Grove. Congratulations, bud. Who you want to thank?
You guys for putting this on. All the guys at FTM and Swan's Beach shot for 358 and big block sets.
Well, hey, hell of a job, man. You gonna come out and play in anything else tonight, or are we done for the night?
I think I'm gonna call her a night after that one.
All right. Well, good run, Clay. Can't wait to talk to you again, brother.
Thank you, sir.
All right, we're going to wrap it up here real quick because the Rebels race should be getting ready to go. So we're going to bring up the intermission video, and we'll be right back with your Rebel Sprint Cars here at the Williams Grove Speedway. Stick around on the Coast to Coast Racing Network.
It's time for another edition of RSN Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Gets on the champion, trying to be a bit of a hiatus. So let's get. Tonight when we talked about it.
Outpouring of love was amazing. These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive. So having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately, they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
We're back live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network with part 2 of 3 here at the Williams Grove Speedway. Little Rebel sprint car action. Got 12 drivers in the field, one of them being me, because I've explained this already. When Marty comes back here on Monday nights, I'm going to be running this thing for points, or would like to, so I could get up into the Renegades division. Monday is normally, I love broadcasting, don't get me wrong. Like I've told you guys that I don't just do my own thing, the Shaggy TV. I work for a Virtual Grip Network as well, do a couple leagues for them on Tuesday and Sunday nights. So really the only night I have off is Saturday night and, well, used to be Monday night. But whenever Marty comes back, I'm going to be using my Monday night to do a little sprint car racing here. I need to keep up my clout, with the rest of these drivers. I can't just let them think I'm running my mouth all the time. I gotta at least semi look like I know what I'm talking about. Let's see here. Steven Fernberg going to be the first car on the racetrack for qualifying. Let's watch him do a couple laps here at the Williams Grove Speedway. A lot of shine on this racetrack already. You guys have really put a lot of laps in practice, I would assume. If Steven comes around here, lap number 1. We're going to see the quick time, but purple behind him, the Ant-Man Anthony Morano, as Fernberg comes across. He's going to have pole, but Anthony's going to take that over. Purple, 17.79 for the 32, and that's quick time. Can he improve here second time around? Slower through sector 1. Almost got in the wall there off of 2. Going to have to lower down. But still going to be on the top of the charts there in the 32. It's a good lap for Anthony Morano. No G.J. Boydell or Brandon Garand yet. John Morano coming out here. This is Anthony's dad in the 33. In the 033, excuse me. He rolls the top through 3 and 4. John Morano loses the rear end a little bit, and that's going to compromise both laps. So he's not going to be up to full speed for his second lap, and it's really going to slow down his sector 2 time of lap 1, but he still improves through sector 1, lap 1. Let's see what he can do. Can he find some bite this time? Oh, he's really fighting the grip coming off of 4, and John Morano going to stay P8 is G.J. Boydell. He does get out there on the racetrack. Going to change it to time, though. He's got 53 seconds, so he's got to hurry in this 014. The Iron Man, what is he going to look like? Lap number 1. That's going to be P2 for Greg Boydell. Still needs to find a 1/10 of a second, but he's purple through sector 1. What can the 014 do? The Iron Man, 1/10 of a second Can he take the pole? Green sector 2. No, he's going to stay P2. Still needed that 0.05 of a second as Anthony Morano takes the pole. Little guy named Zach Chapman, a.k.a. Shaggy, and Brandon Garan not qualifying, so only 10 guys put in times. We should probably have 2 heat races, 6 drivers, but there'll probably be 5 drivers apiece. So just 2 heat races here this evening, I would assume. If they go 4 heat races with, or 3 heat races with 4 drivers, that would have been pretty crazy. But let's take a look. Starting grid here, heat race number 1. And, well, you know, that first race ran a little long, so I didn't get a chance to really throw in the sponsorship thanks. And I believe, yeah, it is the Salty Dogs sponsor in here. Got a message from Ross Carina about trading paints. Dude, I touched on that at the beginning, and there are a bunch of people in Coast to Coast talking about that. Yeah, that's not on me, dude. That's on trading paints. It went out this afternoon, and they aren't loading back up for everyone. Literally, before I broadcasted, I uninstalled trading paints and reinstalled it just because, well, that was before I talked to anyone. Because I was worried maybe mine was the problem, but no, it's gone on for everyone. And well, while I'm broadcasting, that's a little bit much. So the paints that you guys have on they're gonna be what we have on here tonight is. But we're not gonna wait 43 seconds for this. Let's do that. Back out. Go back live. Get this. I forgot I was the reason they were waiting, so my apologies there, gentlemen. Let's take a look at that heat race number 1, row 3 to the outside, not me, to the inside, the 033 of John Morano. Row 2 to the outside, the Ant-Man Anthony Morano, to the inside, the 34 of Gary Taylor. Row number 1 for heat race number 1, to the outside, the 29 of Steven Fernberg, to the inside, the 94 of Gary Offit. Let's see here as Gary Offit rolls around in that 94. That's right. We can't shorten the pace laps either. I forgot Brandon told me that in the last one. So we're gonna roll around here. We'll get ready to go dance, but yeah, Devo, I take a look back over, and if you could see my screen, trading paints, it just says I don't have an internet connection, which, I mean, I'm live streaming this race, so if I don't have an internet connection, something's really going on. Little daytime racing, though, in this one, going back in time. And this, it shouldn't be too bad, but we don't have a lot of cars, but this will, in the daytime, it is a little dustier. So that's one more factor these drivers going to have to deal with here at the Williams Grove Speedway as we pace down the front stretch for the final time. There's going to be 8 to play in heat race number 1 as we're underway. Gary Offit trying to hook up on the bottom while Fernberg trying to build up momentum coming off the top shelf in 2. Gary's got to way back down, doesn't want to slide up there in front of Steven. And he's going to lose 2, maybe 3 spots in that 94. Make it 2 as Gary Taylor not able to hook up and go around. But Anthony Morano in the 32 and the 29 of Steven Fernberg going at it. The Ant-Man with a little slide job. And your quick time wastes no time getting out front here. But Steven going to fight back in 1 and 2. Fernberg throws it in there, but Anthony Morano hooks up on the bottom, and he's going to drive away here. No, he's not. Steven hooks up in the center of 3 and 4, reels him back in. With 5 laps to go, he's not going to let him get off that easy as Gary Taylor He takes a peek up in that rear view. He sees John Morano getting a lot closer. Can John find a way to work his way on by that 34? Speaking of, little contact there in 3 and 4, and Gary Taylor ends up in the fence. Not too sure if anything's broke on that 34, but definitely not the start he wanted here to his night in the Rebels sprint cars. Is Anthony Morano picking up where he left off last week at the top. 3 laps to go. He's leading the way. Coming down the backstretch, the Ant-Man looking smooth here. Catches the cushion on the top of 4. And Anthony Morano holding off this man in the 29, Steven Fernberg. He was definitely my favorite coming into the Rebels division last week, but Anthony really shocked us here. Won the Rebels race, and with the white flag in the air, I forgot we don't get to see that when I pick his driver, but I want my points. I'm selfish. Goes down the backstretch for the final time. Anthony Morano into 3 and 4. Testing out the bottom. Checkered flag wave. And Anthony Morano brings home heat race number 1, followed by Fernberg, Offit, Morano, Taylor, and not me. As we get ready here, we'll take a look at that starting grid for heat race number 2 whenever it becomes available. Row 3 to the outside, the 53 of Brandon Garand. To the inside, the 75 of Steve Bixler. Row 2 to the top shelf, the Iron Man in the 014, G.J. Boydell. To the inside, the 06 of Braden Bennett. Row 1 for heat race number 2 to the outside, the 888 of Steve Maurer. And starting on the pole, the 055 of Brian Moore Sr. Plenty of time here to adjust the overlay back to where it should be, since we're going to do the 2 laps around here. We should only have Brandon. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Brandon didn't grid. I was going to say, I didn't think he was in the room. So we do only have 10 drivers here racing this evening. Unless Brandon does grid up for the feature, but that would kind of be a little of a surprise here. Right now, there we go. Sorry, I was a little distracted there. I looked over at mine. You probably heard the music playing. So my stream is not correct on Facebook. I don't know what's going on. It's not live. It still has us in commercial. Hopefully that was just because it tweaked out on my end and it gets fixed. But on the YouTube side, we're all good. So hopefully that was just a Zach computer problem and the screen just freezing on me. But the green flag's high. It's ready to fly. There's 8 laps to play in the clay. Heat race number 2 is underway. Oh, almost a little contact there as Maurer maybe came down a little bit. And back in the back here, they're beating on each other. Bixler, Bennett, and Boydell. And it's allowed the front 2 to kind of pull away a little bit as they battle hard. Brian Moore Sr. looking to hold on as he's got the 888 of Steve Maurer. Trying to reel him in, Braden. Rolling it in here, trying to get to the outside. Couldn't tell that was the mayor, Steve Bixler, who got a little sideways there. And now G.J. Boydell has the 014. Trying to work to the inside. He's got the grip and he's got the spot. Ryan Moore Sr. walking away with this thing here. He's got almost the second lead over the 888 of Steve Maurer, and absolutely what you expect here at Williams Grove. You get a quick leader, clean air, and just open up that can, and Ryan Moore Sr. walking away here at the halfway point as Steve Maurer takes a look at that windshield. He's about 1.5 seconds behind the 055, and here comes G.J. Boydell. Greg trying to run down the 888 of Steve Maurer. Gotta be smooth though here. It doesn't have a lot of time left, only 3 laps. As he's right there, but he's gonna have to make his move count. You don't want to go down there and show him your nose and not be able to pull it off and get the door slammed shut on you. And there you go. He had all the traction going down the front stretch. Makes it look easy. G.J. Boydell up to P2. Ryan Moore Sr. through 3 and 4, looking to see that white flag wave. There's one more lap to go here at the Williams Grove Speedway, but battle's still on for P2. Steve Maurer trying to take one last swing, but he loses the rear end, and Brian Moore Sr. drives through 3 and 4 for the final time. He sees the checkered flag wave, and Mr. Wednesday Night brings home a heat race win, followed by Greg Boydell, Steve Maurer, Braden Bennett, Steve Bixler, and Brandon Garand. We'll be right back here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Stick around for your 30-lap Rebels feature. Sorry there, played the old warm-up intro, but once I saw it, I was kind of committed. Wasn't going to change it here, but we're back at the Williams Grove Speedway. A little bit of time left to play here at warm-ups, but the Ant-Man Uh-oh, half a second quicker than the rest of the field, and going to be starting on the pole. I think we're going to be talking to Anthony here after this race is over, and, you know, I don't want to jinx him, but based off that time, he could wreck just like that, and, you know, come back through the field, I think, with a quick repair. He'd need the caution. But the speed that 32 has tonight, you're not really going to be able to hide that thing coming through the field. He is going to show up on the camera a lot. Unless, well, he checks out of that camera. There's also a pretty good chance of that. But let's take a look here. We'll throw Brandon Garand in here. He'd be on the outside of row 6 if he does decide to start this thing. But row 5 to the outside, the 75 of the mayor, Steve Bixler, to the inside, the 34 of Gary Taylor. Row 4 to the outside, the 06 of Braden Bennett, to the inside, the 033 of John Morano. Row 3 to the outside, the 888 of Steve Maurer, to the inside, the 94 of Gary Offit. Row number 2 to the outside, the 014 of GJ Boydell, and to the inside, the 29 of Steven Fernberg. Row number 1 for your Rebels feature here at the Williams Grove Speedway, presented by the Salty Dogs. To the outside, the 055 of Brian Moore Sr., and on the pole, the Ant-Man, Anthony Morano. As I made him wait this whole time for the grid, but I just now realized it. You see, I missed the start, so hey, whatever. You ain't gonna win them all. We'll get ready here to pace around 2 laps before we get ready to go play. Not a lot of cars. I don't want to jinx us here. Shouldn't be too many cautions, and well, you know, I mean, you're looking at a good 10 or 10 minute race, you know, if this thing all but stays green anyway. So this is a longer racetrack, half miler. You gotta be ready to go here. This place can tire you out. Some of them just did the 358 modified race, so you gotta make sure you're on your toes here at the Williams Grove Speedway. Gotta love the diversity here of the crowd in Mechanicsburg, PA. A couple guys wearing the same outfits. But I'm not going to judge them. You know, it may be a particular style. Not my style. I'll tell you where my style is. Normally, you get to see my mouse when I do this. You do. Okay, so this is where I'm right here when we come to Williams Grove, right there. Getting ready to enter turn 3. That's my hangout spot. You got to hang out in the infield, or you go up there in the top in 3 and 4 and you get hammered drunk on Beer Hill. There's really only 2 strategies. You stay out of the dust in the infield, or you get drunk up there in the entrance of 3. As the green flag's high, it's ready to fly. There's 30 laps to play in Mechanicsburg, PA. Ryan Moore trying to hook up on the outside, not let your leader get too far away. But, oh, Gary Offit, he gets helped into a wheelie. That 94 hikes up. Guys still trying to hold on and catch it, but I think we're seeing one's maybe pull to the inside. Looking for the caution there after the contact, and we're going to get it. But definitely not the way we want to start this thing off here. Little contact there on the inside and then get bumped from behind. And not too sure. Maybe gets a little shot from behind there, but you can't blame John on that one. I feel like after that original contact, you know, Gary, let's see here. We'll get a little better view. But just, so you got to burp off the throttle after this. You have to let it catch. And he's just kind of stuck in the wall there. Yeah, and then when he turns it down off the wall, there's just nothing. Or turns it down and gets it off the wall, it just hiked left on him, and nothing he could really do there. Oh my gosh, I guess because I'm in the race, it wants to do this where it doesn't want to jump back live. So my apologies. You're probably going to see the live timing graphics stop. I have to reset it another way. Like I say, my bad. I really don't want to have to hunt that down every time and do it that way. So you're going to see it refresh, I would think. Cancel, wrong thing. There is the right thing. Okay, we're not going back racing yet anyway, so I don't feel that bad. Thought we were on the 1 to green. Now we should be better here. My log button should work. Let's see here. Let me test it out. Yep, okay. Alright, nice. Better have all these hiccups though in this Rebels race than in the Renegades race, because normally, you know, we got a lot of cars in that Renegades race, and if you make one hiccup, it can build up real fast. Anthony Morano just ready to get this thing back rolling, man. He's gonna be the car to beat. I told you all that. And with the green flag high and being ready to fly, the 32 drops the hammer, and we're back underway. Fernberg up into that third and final podium spot is GJ Boydell. He started second, but he's fallen back to fourth in that 014. See if he can smooth it out here, maybe get over the bumps and get himself back into the top 3 as John Morano fighting a real loose race car coming off the corner. And that's where the Ant-Man, you know, you just got to be yelling at Pop saying, hey, a little less throttle can make you a lot quicker. Look at me down here on the bottom as Anthony Morano 2 seconds up the road here in the early stages. And we are back under caution. That was a little preemptive, so that's not the right one. Let's see, is this the right one? This does look like the right one. So Steve Maurer on the inside. Just didn't get a lot of room there. I mean, he definitely came up a little bit. Gary doesn't have to give him a whole bunch of room, but it's just guys fighting over that same real estate on corner entry, and you see 2 cars tore up, 3 cars tore up. And it happens fast here at Williams Grove, pushing almost 100 here at the end of these straightaways. One mistake, it'll show up really, really fast. Oh, I see a couple people on the Coast to Coast page. Joe Canellis out there. What's going on, man? We got Butters. We got the Goose. Chad Cote. We got the General out there. Andy Patton. Andy, we should see you in the Renegades race, right? And I would assume, well, maybe you can fill us in there in the chat box. With these races going as long as they are, that track's going to have some shine to it come qualifying in that Renegades practice, I would assume. Or maybe, Andy, if you are in there, give us another hint. Let us know how many guys are in the session, too, because that will definitely add to that track wear. And, well, you know, if we don't speed this thing up, too, another thing Andy and the boys might know, I noticed when this thing kicked off, when I joined it, the other one only had 40 minutes left in it, so they might have to make a new session if we don't get this thing rolling and get it in. As the green flag is high, it's ready to fly. We've had 2 cautions. We're back underway in lap 5. We'll see here. We know the story out front. Anthony's kind of been walking away with these things. I will jump up there if we get any change, if Brian can hang on. But the gap already 0.6 seconds. John Morano, he sees a battle happening behind him. Gary Offit taking a peek under Braden Burnett. Burnett got that 06 rolling the top side. A little bit of a hiccup there coming off a 2, loses the rear end. And Brian Moore Sr., he's seeing that 29 of Steven Fernberg starting to appear pretty big in that mirror. Let's hop under the front wing here of the 29. Fernberg throwing that thing in there sideways, trying to get underneath that tack for the front stretch, oh my God, trying to get down on the tack for the front stretch, trying to avoid the slick. Excuse me, as my wording was all off. That's a little battle in itself there. You can see he's driving up top in the center, cuts it down underneath, and Brian Moore Sr. gets a little sideways. And Fernberg's got to check up the throttle. That allows the Ironman and G.J. Boydell to get into the mix here. The 014 looking on the outside here. Thought about taking a peek. But Fernberg gets up there, shuts the door. And Brian Moore Sr., he's going downstairs and shutting the door in 3 and 4. Right back to the top, though, in 1 and 2. The 29 looking for a little grip downstairs. Let's see what Brian does. Likes the bottom in 3 and 4. Running a little combo. Top 1, 2, bottom 3, 4. There's John Morano. He's trying to reel in a little bit. We got Steve Maurer racing Braden Bennett here, trying to throw a slide job in that 888. Almost loses his footing, able to regather it. Not going to complete the pass, and Fernberg is watching the lead extend a little bit there over that Moore has over him. Now, this is the battle for P2. This is your leader. I like showing you these. Here comes Anthony. Here comes second, third, and fourth. Anthony 4 seconds up the road. That is an absolute lifetime in dirt racing. And last time by, Anthony Morano ran in 18:34. I want to show you these differences here. That is the wrong one. This is the right one. So you can see that last time by, 2 laps ago, he's 0.7 of a second faster, half a second on lap 9. I mean, he is just digging a ditch out front, and those guys aren't going to be able to climb out of it. Not without a possible caution. And you got to think the odds of a caution happening now really aren't that great. You know, not to single anybody out, but it really would kind of be driver frustration. You maybe overdrive the car a little bit or make a mistake and you park it on the racetrack. But Anthony Morano, 5 seconds up the road. Here comes Brian Moore Sr. Steven Fernberg close to him. That's your best battle on track. And then possibly maybe the battle for fourth is Gary Offit in the 94. He's trying to reel in the Ironman. Gary Offit had a top 3 last week. Would love another one here at the Williams Grove Speedway. But he's going to have to get by the Ironman if he wants to do it. The 014, he ain't going to make it easy. And you can't blame him here as Anthony Morano closes up on lap traffic. Let's keep an eye out on this 32. He's got to play nice going through here. You don't want to get caught up in somebody else's mess. Anthony Morano! Oh, not what you want to do with a 6-second lead. Back it off, big guy. Back it off. I know he wants to find a way on a route, but you're not going to give up 6 seconds here. Race smart, man. Be careful. Fernberg, you see he's lost touch with Anthony Morano gets into it with Steve Maurer a little bit in that 888, and this is, I told you, this was what was going to happen if we saw a guy get some damage. We were going to see the park it on the racetrack, and we've got our second caution, and the Ant-Man watches that lead absolutely evaporate. And there's nothing Anthony could have done about this. You just see Steve going to lose the rear end in the center of the corner. Nobody to blame but the 888 just gooses it up a little bit right here. You can see starts to throw some dirt, and it's just going to bike around on him. Just a little too aggressive on that throttle. Anthony tries. He sees it coming. You can see him even lift off the throttle and then goose it real hard to turn it underneath. He almost clears it. But at that point, I think that broke the left front there for the 888 because you can see it doesn't want to turn. He gets down into that inside wall. Comes to a stop on the racetrack, and we've got our third caution of the race. It says second caution there because, well, if you remember, I restarted it after the first caution. So I always forget that I gotta do the math in my head now, making me do a little bit of work. As we roll around here, should get the 1 to green this time by, I believe. As well, I clicked the scenic cameras. I thought maybe we'd get a good view, but that's just a view of no cars. What a waste. We do see the lights are off on the Steve King Foundation pace truck, though, and only got 6 dogs left to fight here. Make that 7. Here comes one more around. But John and Bennett both a lap down. Steve Maurer on pit road in that 888. So as we come around here, Anthony Morano just looking to get back to being smooth here as we have 10 left to play in Mechanicsburg, PA. We're back underway. Fernberg trying to take advantage of this positioning here. He's finally on the back of the 055. Can he make the move for P2? Brian Moore Sr. was able to drive away from him under the long green flag. But with the reset here, it's allowing people to maybe make some moves. Anthony Morano not allowing anybody to make a move on him. He's walking right back out of town. He's going to be down in Carlisle before we know it. 1.4 seconds up the road. Steven Fernberg, this is the battle here. Can he find a way to P2? Can GJ find a way to get up to third here as he inches closer to that 29? Fernberg trying to hook it up in the middle through 3 and 4. As you see Anthony Morano dancing on glass out front. He's slipping and sliding going down the front stretch, but that 32, man, bat out of hell tonight here in Mechanicsburg. He is just grooving. You just hear it, how smooth it is. He's not really spinning the tires. He did a little there, but not too bad. It's just, he has got that 32 machine absolutely grooving. And so does the 014 here. Ironman. Can Greg Boydell make a move here and get on the podium? As Fernberg tries to get that 29 hooked up on the bottom of the racetrack. GJ, he gets into the front stretch wall, and with 4 laps to go, he's really going to have to put his head down if he wants to reel those guys back in. Anthony Morano comes off of 4, low and slow, 3 to go for the 32. And Anthony Morano looking to go back-to-back here in your Rebel Sprint Car division. Possibly looking at a new champion here if nobody else can come up and test the man. As 2 laps to go this time by for your leaders as Brian Moore Sr. looks to hold on to P2. Steven Fernberg trying to come back for one last swing. But we've got 3/4 of a mile left here at Williams Grove Speedway. Half a mile now as the white flag flies. One more trip around for the Ant-Man. Fernberg getting closer there to Brian Moore Sr. Let's take a look. Can he make a move here on the high side? We'll find out when they come to the line, because all eyes are on the 32, who brings home the checkered flag here in Mechanicsburg, PA. Brian Moore Sr., P2, and Fernberg holds on for the third and final podium spot. Boydell, Offit, Bennett, and Morano at the line there. You see John, a little sideways contact coming to the line, but good run for the Ant-Man Anthony Morano, who, surprise, surprise, brings home another checkered flag here at the Williams Grove Speedway. See if we can find some of our top 3 drivers. We do have the man who finished third here in the 29. Steven, Shaggy up in the booth, man. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
Well, man, it just seemed like tonight, that racetrack, it was really abused. You guys had a lot of practice time. Wasn't too much you could do out there. Talk to us about the racetrack.
I think it was a different Williams Grove than I've seen in a while. It kind of was bottom dominant the whole time.
Yeah, you're a little surprised by that? I mean, most of the time we'll see guys go up and rip that cushion, but it seemed like low and slow was the way to go tonight for sure.
Yeah, it definitely was. I actually even tried to go up and rip the top, and it just wasn't making any ground. There at the end, I was sort of running in the dirty air, the dirty track, where they kicked up the mud and it was getting faster, but I didn't have anything there till the end.
Well, Steven, at the end of the day, man, P3s, they add up. Another podium. Good job, man, for the 29. You got anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, I'd like to thank everybody here at Coast to Coast for putting this league on. It's an awesome league. And I'd like to thank all my sponsors, Finish Line Race Design, Bouse Hog Off-Road, Bonehead Podcast, and Equipment Geek, and the team at All American Motorsports.
Hey, heck of a run, Steven. Can't wait to talk to you again, man. Good run tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
And Patrick's up here to tell us that they're making a new session. No, Patrick, you get back here because I just said that you were up here. Quit leaving, Patrick. Gosh, dang it.
Can you tell Fernberg to join the session when we got 2 minutes?
Okay.
Can you join the Renegade session?
Yeah, I'll get in there. All right, so I'm going to do this a little out of order here. I don't see Brian Moore Sr. up here, and I know we're in kind of a rush. Anthony, congratulations on a dominant win, man. Boy, oh boy, you probably wouldn't change a thing about this racetrack tonight, would you?
Oh man, love it when it gets slick. That's when Williams Grove. That's when I think every track does its best, but yeah, especially Williams Grove when can move around. I mean, I don't have a lot of experience in the sprint car department at Williams Grove, but I mean, car felt good. I went out there and just never left the bottom. So had the most grip down there, and then didn't want to go flirting with the top side too much. So see how Renegades looks. I'm assuming it's probably pretty beat up out here on the track. So go out here and see how we do in qualifying.
Well, hey, Anthony, I'll let you keep this short and sweet, man. Congratulations on the win. You got anybody you want to thank here? Because I know Patrick was telling me I got to get my butt over there.
Yeah, you got a minute left till server rolls over to qualifying. But yeah, I got to thank my wife, Sherry, the boys at FTM, Dean Suricar, Logan Heim on Lens, Fun Speed Shop, DJ Sim Shop, Expert Installation, Castleberry Flagstone, Shaggy TV. Shaggy, you for doing a broadcast. I don't even know who sponsors us. I forget.
Salty Dogs.
Salty Dogs. Thanks to the Salty Dog guys. Crap, not going to practice. Yeah, everyone at Coast to Coast for helping out with getting everything going here. And yeah, appreciate it.
Hey, man, let's see if we can go 2 for 2 again. Go give him hell, Anthony.
I'm going to try, buddy.
That's Anthony Morano bringing it home. I don't see Brian Moore Sr. up here. And like I say, I don't mean to cut you off short here tonight, but we were really running close on time. You heard Patrick Spengler say 1 minute. So we're going to cut to the between session videos. Probably won't be a full break, and we'll be right back here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Stick around.
it's time for another edition of RSN Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Kiss on the champion. Trying to be a bit of a hiatus, so let's get... Right when we talked about it.
We're back live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Qualifying already underway. Brad Waite, Stephen Goldner, Joseph Grandy, your top three at the moment. You're watching Terry Landis roll around. He's currently 20th. We have 26 guys in the race here tonight, so 2 going home. And this may be a long one here this evening, so go get that drink. Pop that popcorn. I'm not too sure there why the overlay reset on you guys. I didn't do that. And I hope it sticks out. Everything goes okay tonight. That does it for qualifying as that comes to a close. We're going to have 3 heat races with... Yeah, okay, 3 heat races. A 9, an 8, and an 8, I'd imagine. So let's take a look at the starting grid. Rounding out the field, the Macho Man Tyler Wilson. Row 4 to the outside, the 7 of Bob DeGood. To the inside, the 36 of Barry Goldner. Row 3 to the outside, the 78 of Jack Clevenger. To the inside, the 127 of the Pink Panther, Jesse Atkinson. Row 2 to the outside, the 814 Brad Waite. To the inside, the 11 of the Goose, Chad Cote. Row number 1 for heat race number 1 to the outside, the 56 of Randy Shreves. And your Rebel Sprint Car winner moments ago, the 32 of Anthony Morano, starting on the pole. Doesn't look like the Macho Man is showing up here, and I brought up the wrong one, but it doesn't look like we have Tyler Wilson here for heat race number 1. Not yet on the grid. Hopefully he can make it, but I do see him down in the Training Wheels Discord. He is in Discord, so hopefully he finds a way, can make it on back, but it's not looking too promising there. We'll see here. Actually, real quick here, because they're doing the opening 2 pace laps. I already did the grid. Normally, I get a little bit of a time, like 3 or 4 minutes in between. Let me run to my refrigerator and grab a drink really quick here. So it's going to be quiet for this first lap, and then I'll be right back. Should get the 1 to go signal this time by. It's Anthony Morano. That starting position is everything here at Williams Grove. Able to nail that invert. He's got to take advantage of this P1 starting spot. Try to go out here, man, and go 2 for 2. He won the Renegades race last week after winning the Rebels race. Could he go and get it done again? And You know, we had guys arguing in the chat box about, not really arguing, I think they were all agreed with me. Anthony thought maybe he couldn't win both sets of points. I have never seen that in the rules, and there would be no reason to me that if Anthony, you know, can continue this dominance here in both series, that he couldn't walk out a two-time champ of the sprint cars here as we get ready to play in the clay at Williams Grove Speedway. 8 laps here in heat race number 1. We're underway. Anthony trying to slide up in front of that 56, but he hikes it up over the cushion, and there's a little bit of contact between the Goose and the 814. Brad Waite, he slides up the racetrack. He falls back to 5th, and remember, the top 4 transfer to the feature, so you want to be where Jack Clevenger is right now, 4th or better. You don't want to be stuck in that hornet's nest, and that's what Chad Cote, that's where he's at right now. Bob DeGood tightens up in front of him. He goes up the hill, and now Anthony Morano trying to reel in your leader, the 56 of Randy Shreves, who is absolutely having it his own way right now here on the outside, just burning this place down. 5 laps to go. Jesse Atkinson trying to come at Anthony Morano. He's reeled him in a little bit these past couple laps. The training wheels 127. Would love to have a good run here tonight, and I've mentioned it before, but I would say 3/4 of the battle is finishing towards the front in your heat race and really getting a good starting spot in the feature, because it is, yeah, you can pass, but it's not going to be easy, and it is going to be a madhouse here those first couple laps. Jesse Atkinson still rolling around here, but Randy Shreves looking good out front as he sees 2 fingers in the air. There's 2 more trips around the Williams Grove Speedway. Cote right now in that running in 5th. He finds himself the first man out here trying to get some speed here, make a run for 4th. But he's only got 1 lap to go as we see the 56 of Randy Shreves take the white flag. He goes under the bridge down the backstretch here at Williams Grove. Final time through 3 and 4. Randy Shreves takes the checkered flag, and he's going to start on the pole. Morano, Atkinson, and Clevenger to the feature. Cote, DeGood, Goldner, Waite, and Wilson to the B main. As we get ready to take a look here at the starting grid for heat race number 2. 9 drivers once again. Brennan Lacey rounds out the field in the 114. Row 4 to the outside, the 94 of Gary Offit to the inside, the 161 of the Desert Demon, Terry Landis. Row 3 to the outside, the 513 of Jeff Barker to the inside, the 05 of Devo, Donovan Ross. Row 2 to the outside, Steven Goldner in the 30 to the inside, the 39 of the high side banger, Patrick Spangler. Row number 1 for heat race number 2 to the outside in the 20, the salesman Blake Chapman, and starting on the pole, the general in the 87, Andy Patton. Well, I know Patrick Spangler and Blake Chapman, they've talked about it. They're doing, I guess, their Monday night thing. They're going to start in the back, but, oh, man. Well, okay. I don't want to jinx it, but, man, with the racing that we've seen here tonight at Williams Grove, okay? It's not been easy for everyone to stay off of everybody. Let's call it how it is here. And I don't know if I would want to have that on me coming through the field. And not only do they have to watch out, okay, for everybody else making some mistakes, but they also, are going to be a little quicker than some of those other drivers around them. And trying to root their way up through the field may cause a disruption and the people around them, and hopefully they can get the green flag runs that they need to get up to the front. But man, I always call it how it is, and I would not hold my breath on that one. That is not going to be an easy time for those guys. As we roll through 3 and 4 for the final time, Andy Patton leads the field to the green flag and the 87 on the inside. Stephen Goldner on the outside. Let's see what they do as we dive off into 1 and 2. The green flag waves and we're underway. Andy gonna keep it there in the center, and he finds a lot of grip coming off the corner. That's enough. Maybe gave a blueprint for the leader, but Goldner storms into 3 and 4. Looks low. Andy Patton, give it to Goldner at the line. Devo, not too sure what happened to the 05, but he had a mistake there right away. And, well, the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker, also a little bit of a hiccup going down the front stretch. And got 4 cars out here for heat race number 2. Andy Patton trying to find a way around Goldner, but really just trying to find a way to get back to him. Goldner is just absolutely shaking the bottle and let everything out of it. And Gary Offit, he's trying to run down the 161 of Terry Landis. Let's actually, you know what? Patrick, Blake, this is what happens. You guys sit in the pits. We have an incident there, 2 guys. I'm going to ride on board here with Gary Offit. Everybody thinks this is so easy to do out there watching. Well, watch this thing slip and slide around. You're fighting the throttle. You can't jump on it too hard or else you're going to hear the tires spin and you're going to loop it around. But Gary doing his best here, keeping this thing straight, trying to ride the bottom. Through 3 and 4, he does make up a little bit of ground on Terry Landis, which is not enough in the grand scheme of things as Stephen Goldner drives down the backstretch here. We've got 2 laps to go this time by for the 30 machine. Stephen Goldner rips the outside while Andy Patton rips the bottom. Back to Landis on the outside and back to Offit on the bottom. So we got 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom, but the white flag is ready to fly. We got a half a mile here in Mechanicsburg. Stephen Goldner brings it off a 2 for the final time. As he brings it under the bridge, he sails it into 3, drives it through 4, and he sees the checkered flag come out. He takes it home here in heat race number 2. Patton Landis off the A main. We get ready to take a look at the starting grid here for your 3rd and final heat race. And this, of course, brought to you by none other than, I believe, I'm going to go out there, Flatline Racing Bodies. I've been so busy tonight. Okay, I just checked over. It is Flatline Racing Bodies. Huge shout out to you guys for picking up the sponsorship. And my apologies for the late acknowledgement of that sponsorship. But, man, these races have been blurred together. They're taking a long time, and they don't want to set up another session. So we're trying to roll them in together. As row 4 to the outside, Ross the Boss Corinna to the inside, Mr. Wednesday Night, Brian Moore Sr. Row 3 to the outside, the Gentleman Jacket to the inside, the Spider Monkey, Brandon Ditton. Row 2 to the outside, 100 grand, Joseph Grandy to the inside, Dino, Dean Reynolds. And row number 1 for your 3rd and final heat race to the outside, Steven Fernberg. And starting on the pole in the 51, Shorty, John Short. Wrong overlay again, as I always forget to slide it back over. And, well, I should know it's the wrong overlay because the right one always double stacks. And I get to hit the refresh button, watch my logo disappear for a couple seconds, get paranoid, wonder if it's going to come back. Only for it just to come back pretty much every time. My anxiety be there for nothing. appreciate you for tuning in, Joe. Good luck racing tonight. We got Hollow back out there. As always, rooting for the Goose. And here we get ready to go play 8 laps here. Heat race number 3. John Short set to bring the field to the green flag. As we go down the long front stretch here in Mechanicsburg, PA, the 51 gets ready to fire as we drop the hammer and we're underway. Shorty trying to slide up in front of that 29. Fernberg tries to climb the hill, just not enough of room. As the 79 of Dino, he tries to get in there, but he gets into the back of the 51. Little contact. He's stuck up on the wall, and the 79 gonna have to tow that thing. Let's see if we're not gonna get a caution. So let's see if we can get a good view of kind of what happened there. So yeah, he just tries to peek under Shorty, who kind of left the lane open, but then is coming down, and Dino can't react in time. And just like that, contact is $100,000. Joseph Grandy's got that 518 leading the way. The gentleman Jack hit trying to creep up in there in the 217 as well. As Jack looks under the 29 of Steven Fernberg for a quick moment coming out of 2. But he's got to cede the spot right back. What do we have here this time is, well, we weren't exactly live. We were half a second behind. I was kind of spacing out there. I was wondering where my leaderboard went. And, well, when I'm not live, the leaderboard won't show up. We were about a quarter of a second behind. My apologies for that. Joseph leads the way here. 3 laps to go, but the battle is on for P2. Jack hit trying to find a way around that 29 of Steven Fernberg. Ross also got back out there on the racetrack after the late start. Didn't notice the boss got back out there. And just by getting out there, able to get himself up to P5 after the early contact with those drivers in $100,000. Sees the white flag displayed. There's one more lap to go as Fernberg tries to hold off the 217 at Jack hit. $100,000 sails it off into turn 3 for the final time. As he sees the checkered flag displayed, he brings home heat race number 3. Fernberg hit and more to the A main. Corinna, Short, Reynolds, and Dittmer to the B. Should be bringing 12 guys to the feature here. 14 listed. So let's take a look at the starting lineup. Rounding out the field, Lacey to the outside, Wilson to the inside of row 7. Row 6 to the outside, the Spider Monkey to the inside, the high side banger, Patrick Spangler. Row 5 to the top shelf, Brad Waite to the inside, Dean Reynolds. Row 4, the salesman to the top shelf to the inside, Barry Goldner. Row 3, Shorty to the outside, Devo to the inside. Row 2, Bob DeGood to upstairs, Ross Corinna to the basement. And row number 1 for your B main, 12 cars to the show to the outside, the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker. And on the pole, the Goose, Chad Cote. No Brennan Lacey so far. That's the other car we're waiting on. So if he doesn't make the grid here, only going to have 13 drivers this evening. And there is no low-line master, no Brennan Lacey this evening. Really hoping we get to see Brennan out here tonight. Didn't see much of that crew last week. We see Stephen Goldner here this week. Barry, his dad, here as well. Tough break there for Brennan Lacey. Not going to make the call. Most likely not going to make the show. Lots of good guys here in this B main. I don't know who would be the one to go home here, but man, it's going to be somebody. I sneezed and forgot to unmute myself. My apologies, but we go down the backstretch here for the final time. We see the Steve King Foundation pace truck dive off. And the real question is, can the Goose get loose here in the B main? As we go down the front stretch, Chad Cote set to lead the field. He drops the hammer. There's 10 laps to get your spot in tonight's feature. Right away, back to last year. Tyler Wilson, he doesn't want to be there. He's got to get one more spot. This is where you don't want to be. And I'll tell you what, maybe you want to be there. Maybe you don't want to be the 814 of Brad Waite. He was just stuck in the middle 3 wide. Oh, 3 wide again behind the Spider Monkey up top. Dino trying to find a way underneath the 83, and this all while they know one guy's going to go home. You gotta play nice here. Barry Goldner riding that 814 up Dino. He's got a lift there, and that's where you live to race another day. Oh, Dino! He survives. He's on outside banger. Oh, Patrick, I warned you. I warned you. Why would you do that to yourself? And now he's got a battle with the 814 of Brad Wade. He has got to get it together. These guys are going to absolutely burn this place down. That's the battle for the final transfer, as the Goose can't necessarily get loose, but he leads the way as the boss hangs on there in a close P2. It's Brad Wade, here he goes, the 814. He works under the high side banger, Patrick Spangler. Patrick right back underneath, and here we go. Brad Waite trying to flex his muscles here as we come up on a wounded race car. Who is that? That's Devo in the 05. Not too sure what happened to the 05 of Devo Donovan Ross, but just like that, that's going to be basically all she wrote for the 05. Lost the handling. He's going to be the man in the back. He's just got to try to drive this thing around and hope for a mistake in front of him. As Chad Cote leads the way, 3 laps to play in Mechanicsburg, PA. Oh, the boss. He's getting really close to the tail tank here. He's not going to look low. Yes, he is going to look low on the Goose. Gonna run low. What does it look like coming off the corner? Let's see here as the boss inches closer. You see now he thinks about diamonding underneath, but falls right back up there in line, and with only 2 laps to go, it is not looking good here for the man in the back, Devo Donovan Ross, as the white flag flies. The Goose, can he flap those wings for another half mile and hold off the boss? Final time through 3 and 4. Chad Cote rips the outside as the checkered flag waves. The Goose hangs on. Ross Coretta, John Short, Jeff Barker, Brandon Ditmer, Dean Reynolds, Bob DeGood, Stephen Boulder, Tyler Wilson, Blake Chapman, Brad Waite, and Patrick Spangler to the A main as Devo and Brennan Lacey. Better luck next week. We're going to take a short break here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, and we'll be right back with your Flatline Racing Bodies Renegade Sprint Car feature at the Williams Grove Speedway. Stick around. We're back live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. About ready to go racing here for 35 laps at the Williams Grove Speedway. For your Flatline Racing Bodies Renegade Sprint Car feature, Ross Corinna, Joseph Grandy, and Patrick Spangler, your top three. But, well, we all saw Patrick Spangler. He got the shovel out. Finished towards the back in the B main, and boy, oh boy, does he have to do some digging in that 39 machine. Let's go back here. Let's take a look at the starting grid here. Rounding out the field, row number 12 to the outside, the high side banger, Patrick Spangler in the 39, to the inside, the 814 of Brad Wade. Row 11 to the outside, the 20 of the salesman, Blake Chapman, to the inside, the 042 of the Macho Man, Tyler Wilson. Row 10 to the outside, the 36 of Barry Goldner, to the inside, the 7 of Bob DeGood. Row 9 to the outside, the 79 of Dean Reynolds, to the inside, the 83 of the Spider Monkey, Brandon Dittmer. Row 8 to the outside, the 513 of the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker, to the inside, the 51 of Shorty, John Short. Row 7 to the outside, the Boss, Ross Corinna, to the inside, the Goose, Chad Cote. Row 6 to the outside, the 055 of Mr. Wednesday Night, Brian Moore Sr., to the inside, the 94 of Gary Offit. Row 5 to the outside, the 78 of Jack Clevenger, to the inside, the gentleman in the 217, Jack Hitt. Row 4 to the outside, the 161 of the Desert Demon, Terry Landis, to the inside, the 127 of the Pink Panther, Jesse Atkinson. Row 3 to the outside, the 29 of Steven Fernberg, to the inside, the 87 of the General, Andy Patton. Row 2 to the top shelf in the 32, the Ant-Man, Anthony Morano, to the inside, the 518 of 100 grand, Joseph Grandy. Row number 1 for your Flatline Racing Bodies 360 Renegade Sprint Car feature at the Williams Grove Speedway. To the outside, the 30 of the Canadian Steven Goldner. And starting on the pole, the 56 of Randy Shreves. We roll into turn 3 for the final time. The Steve King Foundation pace truck dives off the racetrack, and we've got 35 laps to play in the clay here at Mechanicsburg, PA. The green flag is high. It's ready to fly. We're underway. Randy trying to take all that momentum on the top shelf, but here comes 100 grand. Using up the traction on the bottom, and looky who, the 32, Anthony Morano, using it up downstairs. Oh, the 56 comes down. There's contact. Anthony Morano goes around. We watched it happen live. Nothing the Ant-Man could really do there. He was making it eat on the bottom, and it's the 56. You're going to see him try to arc off the top. And now, you know, if you're running a single monitor, you may not know, you may not see him there, but Anthony's definitely there. I mean, he is underneath, and you see the 56. He hooks up, he gets that speed, but he doesn't want to lift and doesn't want to turn into the 518, and Morano maybe not aware of that, so they're both fighting over the same ground, really. That's as big of a racing incident as you're going to see. I mean, you can't, looking at that, especially in the overview, you know, the initial instinct, I wanted to blame the 56 of Randy Shreves, who now gets to hold on to the lead. But Randy, not to blame there. That is as big of a racing incident as you could have here at the Williams Grove Speedway. And well, now you got these two guys. They're the 39 and the 20 Blake Chapman. You see that blue machine? Like I say, my apologies for the paints, but if you're just now tuning in, that is Trading Paints with the hiccup here tonight. I have been refreshing it. I even reinstalled it. It tells me my status, iRacing running, and it says waiting for internet connection. So Trading Paints not behaving out there tonight. Working for a couple guys, though, which is pretty weird. Maybe ones that are already saved in my system. Like, there's the 42. I doubt he drew that on iRacing. He may have. But who knows? I don't knows. But I do knows the Steve King Foundation pace truck is pulling off, and we're getting ready to go back and play. We'll have lap number 5 in the books when the 56 drops the hammer, goes a little later, bunches the field up, and we're back underway. Randy hunting for grip up there on the outside is Steven Goldner shopping down low through 1 and 2, but he goes to the top shelf in 3 and 4, wanting a little more. Steven Goldner, can he make a run here? As our leaderboard's all jumping around, trying to find what is going on here. Dino had fallen to the back. Not too sure what had happened to that 79, if maybe he got damage on that opener and had come down pit road. But you see Blake Chapman and Patrick Spangler battling. Patrick wins that for now. No, excuse me, that was the 94, not 39. My eyes, I need a glasses check. That is Blake Chapman absolutely winning that ordeal on the top shelves. Got the 20 screaming around. Got 2, 3 wide in front of him. That's Brandon Dittmer in the 83. The Spider Monkey trying to rip the bottom, get underneath the goose. But he's flapping his wings, trying to find some air upstairs. But for now, going to fall in line behind that 83. As we take a peek back up front, Steven Goldner, he took the lead last time by, coming out of 4. And he's looking to stand on it here. Can Steven Goldner come down into South Central PA all the way from Canada and bring home his first checkered flag in a long time? Well, he's got 28 more to go, but he's off to a good start here, leading the way. As we go up to the bridge, let's watch him cut a rug underneath. Steven Goldner crosses the line, opening up the can a little bit, but Joseph Grandy able to get the P2 as he works around the 56 of Randy Shreves, that Zemco-inspired paint scheme. Not normally running down here in Mechanicsburg, normally up there in Port Royal, but it's good to see it running around in PA as the first caution flag of the night comes out here at Williams Grove. Jeff Barker and possibly the Spider Monkey, Brandon Dittmer, also involved in this. Let's take a look. And it may have been the Spider Monkey involved and then Jeff Barker possibly involved because, yeah, okay. So SDK lied to us. They're telling us this in the wrong direction. So he drives it in upstairs. He just bounces that right rear off the wall. We see that happen to drivers here every Friday night. Sometimes wall ain't so friendly and you end up going out over towards the parking lot. But he keeps it in the track and all that at the 513's expense. Jeff Barker collected and Brandon Dittmer, he ends up on the side. He's going to have to tow. The one benefit, though, Williams Grove here, if you do have to tow, you normally have a little bit of time there to recover that thing and possibly get out without going a lap down. Not easy to do. You got to do it right away. You got to be on it. Right now, Steven Goldner, he is on it. He's leading the way. He's got $100,000 right behind him running P2. Let's see here. Oh, Steven Goldner, he probably didn't have enough fuel in the car. No, go, Steven Goldner. He pulls it off the racetrack. I guarantee you he didn't have enough fuel in the car. Oh, man. Oh, what do you do now? Oh, you gotta feel for Steven Goldner. Pulls it off the racetrack while leading here. Possibly short on fuel. As Goldner, yeah, not even sitting on pit road anymore. So that tells me he's short on fuel. You can't change the setup or add gas. He's done. And we're back underway. Lap 9 is $100,000. He's your new leader here at Williams Grove. Ooh, Jack Clevenger with a little bit of a hiccup there. He falls to the inside, and that Terry Landis gets in the outside wall. We're wrecking here at Williams Grove. We're wrecking, but we're not wrecking. I don't know how we're stayed green. As the 513 of Jeff Barker, he went around, did loops, but hey, Flagman keeping it in the container here tonight as the Pink Panther makes a move here for P2. Jesse Atkinson, welcome to the middle step of the podium, but Randy Shreves swinging the bat right back here, leaves him a lane. The Pink Panther can't find any traction down the backstretch, and Randy Shreves back to P2. Joseph Grandy comes across the stripe, 24 to play. As we've got 10 laps in the books, and Joe, he doesn't want to wind this thing out too far here. He knows Williams Grove, a little troublemaker track. We may get 1 or 2 more cautions, hell, maybe 3 before this thing's over. So you don't want to burn too much rubber off that sneaker and get caught out here in the late stages. But right now, 3 wide, Mr. Wednesday night. Look at the goose. Flapping, he swings, he gets 2 on the exit of 2. Chad Cote, where did he come from? Absolutely got the fuse lit in that 11 ride. The high side banger going low in that 39, trying to get underneath the 055, and he does just that. A little 2 for 1, gets around the Desert Demon and Brian Moore. Oh, but now he's got the gentleman coming out of the racetrack in front of him. He had to cut a rug, get low in the 39. He is shopping for any real estate he can find as the gentleman gets stuck in that outside wall. Jumps the cushion, but the boss, here he comes, Ross Corina to the outside, takes over P3 at the line. The Pink Panther tries to slide him back in 1 and 2, but so much grip upstairs for the boss that he takes it right back. And Ross Corina, he's got his sights set on the 56 of Randy Shreves. Plenty of time here in South Central PA. Patrick Spangler up 16 spots since the start of this puppy. Let's see what it looks like for the high side banger. Patrick sawing on that wheel, man. Tries to go down, find some tack down the front stretch, goes immediately back up to that top shelf, and the high side banger doing just that, banging down the wall here through 1 and 2. Patrick Spangler, he is using up every inch of that right rear. Randy Shreves comfortably holding on to P2 for the moment, but Ross Corina, I told you, you had him in the sights, and here comes the boss. See damage on that right front wing, or on the front wing here of Ross Corina on the right side. Curved in under a little bit, and at least he kept our camera on there. I was worried maybe he was going to knock it off. Cost me my paycheck this week to buy another one. As he reels in the 56 here. We're coming to 15 laps to go in Mechanicsburg. Andy Patton becomes Patrick Spangler's latest victim. Here's the 39. Started 24th up to 7th here and South Central PA just burning down the top side as he inches closer to the 29 of Steven Fernberg. Haven't really talked much about this man, but he was making a move for the lead early, had to fall to the back, and the Ant-Man has driven his way back up to 9th. That is a heck of a run for the 32 of Anthony Morano. Not going to show up as the best run on the score sheet, but we know what the 32 has been through in this race, and considering he was making a move for almost the lead there in the early stages, to come back, get inside the top 10, that's huge as the Goose taps the outside wall right in front of the Pink Panther. Jesse Atkinson feeling the heat now from the 29 of Fernberg as he takes a peek on the inside through 3 and 4. This is a little contact behind between the Ant-Man and the General of Andy Patton as Anthony Morano gets one more, move him up to P8. If he could get close to the 39, he could try to pick off the guys he's getting. But as you can see, we're going to go in the cockpit of the 39. Day racing here at Williams Grove. You cannot see much. You know, I mean, it's not terrible, but if you just, lapse of judgment real quick, you jump that cushion, you find yourself in the outside wall, and now the high side banger going down low, looking for some deals there through 3 and 4. He's got one at the line. Move Patrick Spengler on up to 6 as the boss. Here he goes. Little lap traffic involved in possibly him getting into P2, but hey, you just got to run what you brung. Oh, caution flag flies. Who do we got here? See, maybe Brian Moore Sr. and John Short. So they would have been separate incidences there. You see him, he slightly touches Jack Hitt. Brad Waite with a slide job. John can't check up in time, drives into the back of him and spins around. And that's our second caution here, or third caution, excuse me, of the evening. Let's see here as we go down the backstretch. Are the lights still on the pace truck? They are. Let's see. Let's bring this man up. Joe's always fun, but he may hate me for this. But Joe, I had myself muted, but I brought you up here real quick, Joe. I promise I'll send you back, man. But with 8 to go, did we save enough tread on that right rear? Or did we get out to too big of a lead, my man? And let's see here. I'm having trouble finding. There we go. I could not find Inferno Motorsports to send him back. And you heard there, we didn't get an answer, but I don't want to bug him. He was out front. He probably may be using the iRacing push to talk, so it's no big deal. I don't do that too often in dirt. But we had to go down there. Just try to see if we could get any information. Maybe he'll yell at us about it, though, when we talk to him later, but, the risk was worth the reward as far as I'm concerned. Even though there was no payoff this time. He's possibly muted, but we'll see what happens. There's going to be 8 to play here at Williams Grove Speedway as we're back underway. Randy with an absolute banger of a restart, but jumps the cushion in 1 and 2 and allows Joseph Grandy to open up the can a little bit here. The 518, what kind of run can he get off of 4? As Ross Corinna, here comes the boss. Slide job by the 10. He loses it, though, going up over the cushion, and the 56 goes right on back by as Ross Corinna, that Phantom Motorsports number 10, trying to let that thing eat, but looky who! Patrick Spangler! He started 24th! There's still 6 laps to go for the 39. Oh, Ross says, hold on, Charlie. I'm going back around the outside. Patrick Spangler gonna have to pull the reins a little bit here. Get those horses under control as he loses another one as the goose flies on by. 5 laps to go for the 518 of Joseph Grandy, who has an absolute war going on behind him. The high side banger stuck on the bottom here, but he's got her rolling through 3 and 4. He gets 2 as he gets by the boss and the goose. Patrick Spangler low and slow. Oh man, he is turning it on here late at Williams Grove. Can he get up to the rear bumper of the 518? There's 3 laps to go this time by. Joseph Grandy, oh, you see behind the 56 of Randy Street. He keeps going. 360 through 1 and 2, Randy Street. Nothing phases this guy. He keeps it rolling and the caution flag flies. And now Randy Shreves, he may get his spot back. Oh my gosh. What happened here at Williams Grove? First off, the SDK will tell me the caution. But we got to go look at this here. So he drives it in a little deep now, we see. Maybe he gets into the high side banger. And by maybe, he does get into the back of the high side banger. But, look at this. Keeps her going. First off, Ross, he hung it out. I mean, he put him in the wheelbarrow and just showed them to everybody. I mean, the size of those things is incredible. Just whipping it around the outside of 1 and 2. But Randy Shreves, way to get that thing back together and keep her rolling. And now we try to find what the caution flag was about. So Tyler Wilson and Terry Landis I'm seeing on the SDK. Terry loses the rear end a little bit, comes down after he opened up the bottom, and just a little contact between him and the 42. And they're hard into the wall here. Williams Grove! That was a close call there. But not what you want to see, I don't think, if you're the 518 of Joseph Grandy, is Patrick Spangler. What can he do? What can he do? Yeah, 1 lap to go here, Mr. Spangler. What are we going to do? Do we got anything?
I don't know. I got slammed in the rear. Let's see if it said.
Yeah, you did.
3 and 4, that bottom was there. I passed 3 cars, I think, so I'm going to try that, see if it works here.
All right, man, give him hell. Go get him. It's a high side banger. Patrick Spangler running in P2. Can 100 grand hold him off? My money, I think it's got to be on the 518. I like Joseph Grandy. He's always quick. But, man, you never know. The high side banger, he might come a knock in here. Green, white, checkered at Williams Grove. Oh, congestion back here from 3rd on back. The battle is on, though, for the lead. Just those 2. What can Patrick Spangler do? Grandy leaves the bottom open. Can the high side banger find the grip? Not just yet, but the white flag waves. Final time through 1 and 2. Patrick's got a run on the bottom. Grandy, what does he do here? He goes down. He tries to shut the door, but he slides up in the middle of the corner. That allows Spangler to get to the inside. They rub it. Grandy holds it off. But oh, what a battle between him and the 39. Oh my gosh, you hear me cough. Man, that brought that one out of me. Boy, oh boy, we got to go back. We got to look at that one more time, and then we'll get to maybe take a look at the battle for third at the line. I'll click it over really quick, but you see these guys. Grandy, he loses it in the center of the corner, just slides up, and this allows Patrick to get the bottom here. He floats up. Grandy comes down a little bit. They meet in the middle. And Grandy just holds on at the line, and Ross Corinna there brings home P3, Atkinson fourth. Blake up to fifth as well after starting in the back, man. Those guys put it on. That was a great. And let's actually here, we're going to watch it. We'll watch it in full speed here coming to the line. Watch all these guys come across the line here. Some of the race cars definitely a little beat up there. You see that right front hurting there on that final car coming across the line. But boy, oh boy, another good race here at the Williams Grove Speedway. As we'll see if we can maybe get a word here with the boss, Ross Corinna, driver of the 10. And he is up here. Let's pull him. I pull him up every time right when he's talking. I always do that to you guys, Ross. I'm sorry. But hey, man, you had a rocket ship up there tonight. And obviously the first two kind of in their own class. But it seemed like you'd get stuck. You'd have to battle back and forth. But, man, you were burning down that high side. You were about half a lane higher than everybody else, man. How are you that comfortable up there, especially through 1 and 2?
Well, it's one of those things where you just almost have to because there's a lot of good drivers in this league, but they don't seem to want to push it to the limit. So if you're able to sneak in there and drive it on that berm, or on the cushion, it's pretty fast. But it's definitely pretty sketch because it's bouncing the steering wheel around, and luckily, I was able to hold on to it a couple times where it got a little sketchy. But wish I would have been able to make the earlier stuff, but. Whatever. It's not nothing to hold your head down on a third place finish in this league. So,
no, definitely not. You talking about getting through some sketchy situations, Ross. That made me laugh because that was my next question. That final caution. You saw Randy Shreves go in there before and get into the back of the 39. What are you thinking, man, when you see him spinning up the track? I mean, you absolutely put the sack in the wheelbarrow, dude, and just whipped him around the top in 1 and 2. I thought you were done, but you full hammered that and drove on by. How scary was that?
Yeah, I saw something happen on my left screen, and I was out of the throttle to kind of set the car, and then I saw him kind of spinning. And I'm like, all right, gotta just punch it, and slammed her down and was able to keep it straight enough to get some momentum going and get by before he came up. But yeah, I was lucky. Unfortunate for him. I'm not really sure what happened, but he was running a pretty good race there. But couple incidences early in the race, put some damage on the car and stuff, but I probably still wouldn't have had anything for the top two guys. I think I burned a little bit too much of the tires off there running the top there early, but anyways, like I said, it's a good run, and hopefully I can actually make it on time next week. So.
Yeah, and you touched on it there. I talked about I rode off your wing a little bit. You could see it was damaged, and normally we dirt track racing, aero not going to affect us too bad, but to be that quick here, man, at the half miler, Williams Grove, that says a lot. You were quick up there. You were making up your time in the corners where it mattered, just beating down that wall, and it was fun to watch, Ross. You were real quick tonight. Congratulations on the P3. You got anybody you want to thank?
Yep. Phantom Motorsports guys, M9 Performance for the setup, you for putting on the broadcast, and everybody at Coast to Coast behind the scenes making the league work.
Hey, hell of a job, boss. Look forward to talking to you a lot more this season, man. Good luck.
Thank you.
Ross Corinna bringing home P3, and now we're going to bring up the man who... Well, Patrick, I'd have lost a lot of money tonight if there was a bet on you to get into the top 3, because I would have probably put the life savings on why in the heck would you and Blake still skip the heat races here at Williams Grove? But man, oh man, you guys still both drive your way up to the front. He got in the top 5, and you got to that middle step just about a half a car short of Joseph Grandy, man. How are we feeling about the ride tonight?
That's pretty fun. It's definitely a change with the day races this year because the tracks were in differently. So I got stuck in 8th for a while behind Fernberg and Atkinson. Every line I was trying wasn't working. I finally worked past Fernberg, and then when I was running 5th, I think, I hit the bottom of 3 and 4 and passed 3 cars, I think, at once. So I knew it was there. I took some damage there with 2 to go. And I think if I would have stayed a little bit lower down the straightaway, I didn't realize that Grandy came down some too. As I was coming up, I might have had enough traction there to make it close at the line. But yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, you got the same reading of that I did. I went in that aerial cam, and you're coming up a little bit as he's coming down a little bit. You know, things meet in the middle sometimes. But, man, an amazing finish after a hard-fought race. And I know, you and Blake, you're always so worried about those things we call incident points. But at Williams Grove, you come in here, you expect to collect a couple of them, don't you?
Yeah, but I was upset there because I had 0 up until I got hit in the back there. That gave me my first 2X, and I got the 2X with Grandy there and down the straightaway. But yeah, I made it all the way up through the field, the second with 0X, and then I got that. So that one kind of hurt a little bit, but it is what it is.
Yeah, that it's pretty unbelievable too. Well, we saw the hard contact there from Randy when he got into your left rear, but believe it or not, when he spun out and did the 360, that wasn't even the caution. It was a later wreck. You probably saw that. He was able to get that spot back. But, well, Patrick, man, you proved you can get to the front. It just takes 34 laps to do it, or 36 laps to do it. I mean, about 1 lap short. But P2, this kind of field, this track, you got to be happy with that, man. Who you want to thank?
Yeah, just you for the awesome broadcast. Jack Hitt and Jeff Barker for taking on heavy workload this season, trying to take over. Triangles Racing had all 4 of us in the A main tonight. A little rough there for a couple of us, but yeah, we'll come back next week and have fun.
Well, congratulations, Patrick. Look forward to watching you and Blake continue to do the climbs, man. This is a lot of fun. But don't get in the same heat races anymore, okay?
I know, I seen that. Like Tyler, he was having computer issues. He missed his heat race, and then me and Blake were in the same heat race, and then Brendan was in that heat race too, but he was gone today. So yeah, that was funny.
Well, like I say, Patrick, look forward to a lot more of these, man. And well, I know you're gonna have to go back to work soon, but it's been nice having you around when you've been on dad duty.
Yeah,
And there, I sent him down while he was answering. Patrick, please don't hate me. That was my apologies. I meant to drag Joe up here, and I kicked him out. But hey, now we're going to talk to your winner, Joseph Grandy, man. The perfect amount of laps for you tonight. It got close at the end, brother.
Yeah, well, I felt pretty comfortable out there for a while, and I wasn't really too worried until Patrick was directly behind me, and then started sweating a little bit. I knew I had to get at least a little gap between us on the restart, because if I didn't, he would have passed me.
Now, I'm a dummy. I forgot to ask Patrick and all those guys, but maybe maybe he said something. Now, we saw how you got the lead. Goldner pulls off. Did he have the heat race set up in there?
He doesn't know, assuming probably that's what happened. Not 100% sure.
Okay, yeah, I assumed that was a gas issue and pulled down into the race, or pulled down into the infield. But honestly, Joe, that's all the more impressive to you, because if he was running on that low of fuel and you were hanging with him like that, you'd have been a dog tonight. Either way, what is it about the Williams Grove racetrack that when I think about guys who really do win here a lot, it's you, Patrick, and Anthony Morano. I mean, this is some place where, maybe not your favorite track, man, but you guys are just so comfortable here. What do you like about the place?
Williams Grove is one of my favorites. I like it when you can run the top, I like when you can run the bottom or right through the middle. It's a lot of throttle control. Any track that involves a lot of throttle control, I'm fairly decent at. Slick of the track, too.
Now, Patrick brought it up a little bit. These day races, they can be a little different. You know, the track wear is different. How have you been finding that? Do you like the daytime racing, or do we like the nighttime racing?
I like them both, honestly. I think it slicks off a little too fast for the daytime, but I enjoy it as long as I'm starting somewhere towards the front.
That's that Pennsylvania heat, baby. Drying up the racetrack. But hey, Joe, congratulations, man. You earned this one tonight. You were quick. If not for that caution, we know Patrick, he wouldn't have been anywhere close to sniff that thing. But congratulations on a good run, man. You made it exciting, and you brought home the checkered flag. You got anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, Coast to Coast Sim Sports, Catalytic Recovery, my girlfriend Olivia, all the guys at Coast to Coast for doing this league, and UMass for doing the broadcast.
But hey, hell of a job, man. I know this isn't going to be the last time I talk to you. Can't wait to do it again soon.
Thanks.
That's $100,000. Joseph Grandy bringing home the checkered flag, and I put it down on this last lap. Let's watch it one more time here. So you see, he didn't want to pinch Patrick down. Patrick got as close as he could, though, to that tire after the little fumble. And Joe, he just loses it there in the center, but finds the little bit of tack there. You could see, I'll go to my mouse, that little bit of tack back there. That helps him regather. You can see it's a little less shiny. That's why he's trying to drive down the hill, get a little more grip. And him and Patrick meet in the middle, and they come across the stripe with Grandy ahead by a nose. And he brings home your Flatline Racing Bodies checkered flag here for the Renegade Sprint Car Division. And with that, we're going to bring it to a close here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Thank you all for tuning in and sticking around this long if you're still here. On behalf of everyone, Jack Hitt, Jeff Barker, and everyone else who keeps the show going here at Coast to Coast, well, you know, he never gets any credit. We got to start giving Bill Calder his due here at the end of this thing. Thank you for all you do, Willie. You're a big gear in the machine. And, well, Jeff, Jack, you guys are pretty big gears as well. We appreciate you for keeping these things turning. But on behalf of everyone at the Coast to Coast Racing Network, I'm Zach Chapman saying, have a good night, and we'll see you Wednesday for a little Hometown Heroes. And my mic cut out. My apologies. We will see you Wednesday for a little Hometown Heroes. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Don't miss a show.